What is up, hooligans, and happy freedom. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we try to make the news suck a little less. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're over on Rumble, please hit that like button. More likes equals more hooligans. Going to read through the schedule really quick, and then we will be checking on all the chats, so let me know how you hooligans are doing today. Then, of course, we'll be getting everything started. We'll be starting off with a video titled, I don't know what this brand name is. Unlever? We'll go with, maybe it's Unilever. I don't know. Some brand name threatens to halt Ben & Jerry's foundation funds because Ben & Jerry's wants to get too woke, so they're about to lose their funding. Then we got a video titled Drones Pose Growing Threat Near Major U.S. Airports. Analysis shows it's people not following the laws like they're supposed to. There's already laws about flying drones near airspaces and stuff, but nobody does what they're supposed to do, so now it's a threat. Then we got a video titled Supreme Court Weighs If Maryland Parents Can Opt Kids Out of LGBTXYZ Books in School. I think this is a really stupid problem. We don't need to add this stuff in school. Kids can barely read, write, and do math. They don't need to learn about how gay they could be when they're an adult. Then we got a video titled RFK Jr. to unveil plan to remove synthetic dyes from food supply. I think this is actually supposed to happen today. I don't know how long they have to get these dyes out of our food, but it is absolutely a step in the right direction. Even though in that video, they kind of want to resist against removing dyes from our food. They have no good excuse, but we'll get to it. It's stupid. Then we got a video titled Notice of Tort Claim Against Kootenai County. I don't know. This woman was acting a fool. She was asked to leave. She refused to leave. She was helped out of the building, and now she's pressing charges against the people that ripped her out of her seat because she refused to leave. I don't know. I think it's some crazy woman looking for cash and sympathy. Then we got a video titled Secret Service Pursuing Leads in Noem Restaurant Robbery. Kristi Noem had her purse stolen, had all kinds of goodies inside her purse, and now some unknown person has her badge and all kinds of other stuff. I don't know how something like this happens, but either way. Then we got a propaganda video titled Tariff Impacts What Will Be More Expensive. They're trying to turn this into the COVID toilet paper incident all over again. They're telling you need to get cheese and wine and all kinds of other stuff because you won't be able to afford it in the near future, so they're trying to cause panic buying. Then we got a video titled Putin Stuns with Surprise Offer of Direct Talk with Kyiv for the first time in years. I think this is because President Trump keeps saying if they don't come to an agreement, we're going to go hands off and we're not going to deal with their bullshit anymore. But it seems like they're trying to get things solved themselves. Then we got a video titled Americans Targeted in Cartel Kidnappings. The cartel's not making as much money because they don't have millions of people coming across the border anymore. So now they're kidnapping Americans. Then we got a video titled Drug Bust Reveals Possible Ties to Communist China. Last time we covered something like this, there was a so-called abandoned building in California. They were turning it into their own CCP, CDC. This is not quite the same. I think they were growing weed in this abandoned area. I don't know if it's a building or what it is, but either way, CCP trying to grow drugs here. Then we got a video titled Trump Slams Court for Taking Away Ability to Deport Criminal Migrants. Now, this is kind of a follow-up video. Yesterday, we covered that Supreme Court is now standing in the way of the mass deportation. This is President Trump's response to that. Then we got a video that's kind of in the same tone. It's titled Alien Enemies Act Case Ruling Expected Tuesday. Now, in this case, they're saying that there's two illegals that claim that they're not gang members and they don't want to be deported to Supermax. So they're trying to just get deported regularly. Now, this is like a separate thing. It was all about the mass deportation. Now they've divided it into two stories where they don't want deportations to happen. And if they are going to happen, they don't want everyone to go to Supermax in El Salvador. So now it's split into two separate problems because they don't want the illegals to go back home, which is bullshit. Then we got a video titled Dems Demand Proof of Life of Detained MS13 Gang Suspect O. Garcia how the Democrats love him so much. Now they want daily proof of life, as if it wasn't already bad enough. They had themselves a little sit down with Senator Dumbass Van Holly, or Van Hollen, or whatever his fucking name is. That's Senator Dumbass. As if that wasn't bad enough to do that little photo op, now they want it to happen daily. I don't know why they love this guy so much. Say we brought him back in the country. What good is that going to do anybody? It wouldn't. It's so stupid. The last little bit of the news is titled "Lefties Losing It. Trans Activist Melts Down After UK Supreme Court Definition of What a Woman Is." Then we'll be getting into the fun stuff. We'll be opening today's door of the advent calendar that was sent to us by Hair Juicer. And then we got 2 funny videos of the day. First one's titled Testicular Explosion. And our official funny video of the day is Lefties Cannot Help Themselves. All of that's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see how you hooligans are doing today. What is up, everyone over on jeffmaclive.com? What's up, Hair Juicer? What's up, Astrohammer? What's up, Snooks? Happy freedom to you. And what is up, everyone over on Rumble? Snooks, I think you were first today. I appreciate everything you do for us, Snooks. What's up, Mr. Satan? What's up, Amaran? What's up, Ground? What's up, Hidu? What's up, Screaming Eagle? Happy freedom, you hooligans. What's up, Stoner? What's up, HBIC? What's up, Tony Rez? What's up, Kevin? Happy freedom to you, hooligans. What's up, Cricket Kiss? Let me see. What's up, Rappy? Happy freedom to you. Appreciate all of you guys being here on Rumble. Make sure you hit that like button. See if you can get us on the front page. And what is up, everyone over on Kick? What's up, Meta? Happy freedom to you. And what is up, everyone over on Twitch? What's up, Tony Rich? What's up, Contempt? Happy freedom to you, hooligans. And what is up, everyone over on the communism platform? Why can't I scroll? Okay, YouTube. Jeez, every day there's a new reason why I don't like YouTube. Okay, I missed Satan. I think you were first over here, but YouTube's chat is dog shit. But that's okay. We'll work with it. What's up, Magic Moon? What's up, Blue Crow? What's up, Mana? What's up, Spirit Matter? What's up, Tours? We'll go with Tours. Happy freedom to you. And what is up, everyone over on X? Let's get this pulled up really quick. Happy freedom to you, hooligans. All right, let's go ahead and get into things. Like I said, we're going to be starting off with this video. I don't know if it's Unilever. It's something. This brand is threatening to halt Ben & Jerry's foundation funds. Let's get this pulled up real quick. Okay. There we go. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, we have these brand new Trump was right about everything t-shirts. Now, this design was created by Alistair, and Alistair is a badass in just about everything he does. So I will be posting his link in all of the chats for you hooligans to have the opportunity to hire him for your creative needs, because if you think it, he can create it. Now, this design does come in shirts for men, shirts for women, tank tops for men, tank tops for women, pullover hoodies, zipper hoodies, coffee mugs, dog tags. I think we made long sleeve shirts, and there was something else I made, and I can't think right off the top of my head. Either way, we got a bunch of unique items in this design because they're doing something weird with our stickers, so we don't have stickers. So I made other things, but either way, it's our brand new design today. I got on the plain Jane Jeff Mac t-shirt. I'll be dropping the links to the merch store in the chat while we're watching this first video.
Unilever is reportedly threatening to halt funding to the Ben & Jerry's Foundation. That's a US-based non-profit that makes donations to social justice organisations. According to sources familiar with the matter, Unilever is asking the foundation to agree to an expedited audit of its donations to continue the funding. The two sources said it receives roughly $5 million annually, determined by a formula based on sales of the brand's ice cream. Ben & Jerry's sued parent company Unilever in November to stop alleged efforts to dismantle its board and end its progressive social activism. That's included protesting the war in Gaza, as well as supporting a movement to defund police and attempting to criticize Donald Trump. The sources said Unilever is threatening to halt the funding in retaliation for the lawsuit, and because one of the ice cream maker's founders has tried to buy back the frozen dessert maker. Unilever, Ben & Jerry's and the Ben & Jerry's Foundation did not immediately return requests for comment.
Okay, so we had a protest not that long ago that was organized by Ben and Jerry's. You guys were letting me know. I can't remember exactly what it was. I want to say it was the protest that started off with some guy setting himself on fire. I can't really remember. But either ways, yeah, I didn't realize that Ben and Jerry's was so woke. I don't eat ice cream. I don't have anything to do with Ben and Jerry's. But I didn't realize they were woke until you guys let me know. And apparently it's kind of a big deal because they're about to lose all their funding. Well, good for them, because everything that goes woke goes broke. Next up, drones pose growing threat near major U.S. airports, analysis shows. Let's just go ahead and get into this since that last story wasn't exactly breaking news there. All right, like I said, drones pose growing threat near major U.S. airports, analysis shows. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
And let's talk about this, a rising threat above our nation's airports, mid-air collisions between drones and commercial aircraft. New analysis from the Associated Press shows that as more and more drones take to the sky, near misses with passenger planes have surged. And aviation experts warn that it's only a matter of time before a close call becomes a catastrophe. Commercial flights landing at America's busiest airports now face a new mid-air hazard: drones. According to a new AP analysis, drones accounted for nearly 2/3 of all reported near mid-air collisions involving passenger planes in the past year, the highest since 2020. Last November, a drone was spotted just 300 feet from a plane approaching in San Francisco, too late for evasive action. In October, a jetliner in Miami at 4,000 feet reported a close encounter with a drone. And in August, a plane taking off from Newark nearly clipped by a drone just 50 feet away.
Worst case scenario is, a larger drone hits an engine or a prop, on a helicopter. We've been very lucky, that hasn't happened yet.
The FAA estimates over 1 million drones are in operation across the country, many easily accessible online and capable of high altitudes, dramatically increasing the risk. Federal rules forbid drones near airports without permission, but enforcing those rules remains challenging. The leading drone maker, DJI, stopped using geofencing technology earlier this year, which automatically blocks drones from entering restricted airspace, removing a key safety barrier.
There's a, sort of a balancing act between keeping people who shouldn't be flying out and allowing the people who should be flying in. In the particular case of DJI, who implemented geofencing across the board and then recently pulled back from it, I think they've gotten so many complaints about people who are trying to fly legally having trouble getting into that airspace.
Experts are now pushing for mandatory geofencing and automated enforcement measures like speed camera style fines for violators, hoping to avoid disaster before it happens. And aviation officials are stressing the urgency of stronger measures as drone usage grows, warning that the skies around our airports will only become more dangerous without decisive action. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so that's an entertaining story because it's really based off the lack of accountability. We talk about that every single day. Every single day we talk about how there is no accountability. It's just gone. I don't know what happened to it. COVID killed it. And so they're saying, well, there's already laws against people bringing these drones into airspace. You're not supposed to be near airports. You're not supposed to. There's a whole bunch of rules. You need to follow the rules as if you were flying any other aircraft, but people don't. Okay, so there's a threat. So they want to make more laws? You don't enforce the ones we got. Why do we need more laws? It's like gun laws. It's like criminals don't follow laws. Stop passing laws like criminals are going to start following them. This is no different. We know that these drones are a threat. When they were trying to make the drones all scary and stuff over in New Jersey, and they were talking about drones the size of a Honda Civic, which they don't talk about it anymore because they want you to forget about that stuff. They were talking about, the fires came right after that in California. One of the planes that was dumping water on the fires in California sucked in a drone and it put the plane down. They weren't able to use the plane to help put those fires out. And that was right before inauguration and all of that stuff. And we also covered the story that they mentioned in this video where they were saying that DJI had took away the geofencing. Apparently DJI, which is a drone brand, had it built into their drones that if you tried to fly in like near airport or restricted airspace, the drone wouldn't function. It wouldn't do it. It wouldn't break the rules. But they walked it back, and when we covered it, they didn't say why. They just said that they did it. Well, they speculate in this video, as they said, they think it was because of blowback, because people who have authority to be in those restricted airspace were not able to use the drones because of the built-in restrictions. So they removed those restrictions. Now they're complaining that assholes flying these drones aren't using them responsibly. They would if you enforced the damn law, but, you know, accountability, that's just something of the past. So we'll see how it goes. It sounds like they're going to pass more laws that no one's going to follow. Next up, Supreme Court weighs if Maryland parents can opt kids out of LGBTXYZ books in school. I don't know why they don't just pull the books out of schools. I don't care that Dems go out there and cry and say, oh no, the Republicans are burning books. They're censoring our children from gay books. I don't give a shit. They go out there and say that all they want to. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I think it's way better to pull those books out of school than to have to write a permission slip saying, hey, if you want to talk about shapeshifters to my kid, don't. Like, that's a really dumb thing. Just remove the books from school. But either way, it's what's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Ben and Jerry's losing their funding because they're woke as shit, as well as the drones being operated by criminals. Astro Hammer now face a new disaster, DEI hires. Yeah, we're suffering the blowback of that, that's for sure. Stoner, plants versus drones. The plants will win. Mother Nature always wins. What's up, Rip Curl? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Sage Pup? Happy freedom to you. Bobby, happy freedom. Bert and Ernie pushed their twin beds together at night. Yeah, I wouldn't want kids learning about that. You know, they can't hardly read, write, and do math. Where they got to learn about how gay they could be. Just doesn't make sense. What's up, Cricket Kiss? Happy freedom. Cricket Kiss, let's talk about the million trafficked children. Yeah, they don't report on that. They want everyone to forget that that's happening. Metal Mouth, finally got a chance to pick up my 4-year chip today. Badass. Congrats to you, Metal Mouth. Screaming Eagle, they don't want to go to CCOT, that max security joint in El Salvador. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing about gang members. There's no real files on them. So unless they've already been incarcerated and in their file it says that they're a gang member, there's nothing really stopping them from denying it. The only thing is if you're in a gang, you're supposed to claim it even to authority. So if you go to jail and you claim you're not in the gang all of a sudden, that's you denouncing the gang. As soon as the gang finds out that you did that, they're going to smoke you. And so I don't know how it works with international gangs, because who's going to know that you were denying being in the gang? So I don't know, but we'll cover that story when we get there. What's up, AR-16? Happy freedom to you. Kevin, I'm sure it has nothing to do with China owning the drones. Yeah, and that's a big part of it too. And I think when we covered the geo-fencing story probably a year ago, they had brought up China and all that stuff. Oh, I appreciate you, Meta. No worries. What's up, guess who? Happy freedom. Ben and Jerry's, more like Ben and Fairies. That's right. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Ben and Jerry's. And do they do anything other than ice cream? Because I really just don't be eating ice cream. What's up, Rodney? Happy freedom. What's up, Tony Rich? Happy freedom to you. All right, hooligans, we'll get on to this next one. Like I said, Supreme Court weighs if Maryland parents can opt kids out of LGBTXYZ books in school. I think this is really stupid. We never treat the problems. We only treat the symptoms. It's very irritating. Either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in a case between Montgomery County parents and the MCPS superintendent.
Yeah, so at issue here is whether public schools can refuse to give parents the right to opt their kids out of instruction involving LGBTQ plus reading materials.
Well, 7 News' Kelly Lynn is live at the Supreme Court this morning, where some parents will be rallying later today. Kelly.
Yes, they will be right here outside the Supreme Court starting at 8:30 this morning. You might remember that 7 News told you about this issue back in June of 2023. I was at school board headquarters in Rockville in June when hundreds of parents showed up demanding MCPS restore a parent's right to opt their children out of instruction when those LGBTQ plus inclusive reading materials are used. Now, the case, known as Mahmoud versus Taylor, is before the nation's highest court. The justices being asked to determine if public schools can legally refuse to give parents the right to pull their children from lessons involving these inclusive books. I asked attorney Michael O'Brien why these parents are opposed to their children being exposed to the content in these books.
And again, the parents are not seeking to change this curriculum, remove the books. They seek only an opt-out so that
they should.
In control of directing their children's education on these matters.
And at that Rockville protest back in 2023, I spoke with a woman who supported the MCPS position. She is with the Coalition for Inclusive Schools and Communities, and she tells me that inclusive schools help everybody. I did reach out yesterday to MCPS as well as the Board of Education to find out where the school system stands now that this case is before the Supreme Court. I'll tell you how the school system is responding in the next half hour. Live in Northeast, Kelly Lynn, 7 News.
Like I said, I think this is a really stupid problem. They should just pull the books out of school. I mean, even if they just did it temporarily, just get to the point where kids can read, write, and do math again. Because in 20 years, they're going to be running the country. They're going to be the ones working the stores, providing the food, working in manufacturing plants. If they can't read, write, and do math, I really don't want to hear about how gay they are. I don't care. There's nothing like a dumbass walking up to you who can't do their job. That's your coworker, and all they got to talk about is the 32 flavors of gay. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That's not your whole life. It's not your whole life. I mean, maybe someone's laying around having sex all day, like 24 hours a day, but the majority of us are not. So that's it. That's your whole identity. You just walk around with your rainbow flag and that's all you got going on. I think the kids need to learn. They need to be prepared for the world. That's what they need. Worrying about these LGBTXYZ books isn't going to do anything. Pull that stupid shit out of school. Teach the kids to read, write, and do math. Leave it to their parents to do that. Leave it to sex ed. You want to keep that shit in class? Leave it in sex ed. Sex ed's not the whole curriculum. That's a very small part of going to school. It's a class you take in high school. It may be something that you take 1 or 2 days out of elementary school if they still do that. We used to do that when I was in like 6th grade or 5th grade. We had to take sex ed. It lasted for a couple hours or something like that, and that was it. You didn't hear about it again until you were in high school. So, like, why have that in the library? Why expose kids to that? You want to expose children to pornography? Because that's kind of what it is. It's sexual content. Why would you want to do that? Because you're a pedophile. Because you're a fucking sex offender. That's why. Otherwise, get that shit out of schools. It just simply doesn't make sense. Especially when they start talking about religion and all that. Get that out of there. It has no business being there. You might as well tell them what weed smells like. Tell them how to light a crack pipe while you're at it. Like, stupid. Like, kids do not need to know this stuff. They need to know how to read, write, and do math. And that's it. Everything else should be left to the parents, or if you want to stick your kids in sex ed, then leave it there. But if it's just a Wednesday and your kid's just strolling through the library, there should not be sexual content for them to obtain through the school library. I think this is very simple. People are just really stupid, and it's frustrating for me. I always thought I was like the dumbest kid in class till I got in my 30s, and I kind of feel like all smart people died off. I don't know what happened. Either way, next up, RFK Jr. to unveil plan to remove synthetic dyes from food. Now, I think this is a good idea, and I bet a lot of other hooligans think it's a good idea as well. But in this video, they're going to defend the dyes. They're going to wait till the end. But they're going to claim, well, there's no proof that the dyes are hurting us, so maybe this is a waste of time. I think it's good. Either way, it's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat. See what you hooligans think about these LGBTXYZ books in school. Astra Hammer can't read or do math? No problem. We'll put those funds into sex ed. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And that stuff is the opposite of procreating. So it's not even like it's in the tone of, well, at least we'll have more babies. No, you're not. Actually, that's the opposite of that. So you're going to have people who can't read, write, do math, not procreate. Just talk about a waste of time. You're just wasting these people's lives, really. What's up, Zero? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Russell? Happy freedom to you. Russell, I wouldn't let my kids read those books. Yeah, I don't know. This stuff's wrong. Russell, hang out with your wang out. Yeah, well, it is Tuesday. Cricket Kiss, how about putting them in the closet and nailing the door shut? That's where a lot of peeps are. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. Meadowmouth, my fiance quoted you during an AA meeting today. She said that you don't have to complain to God all the time. You could just crack jokes. It's true, Meadowmouth. I think people would feel better if they had more of a full relationship with God instead of only calling on him when they need help. I don't know. That's just my belief. That's pretty awesome, Meadowmouth. Rappy, leave it up to the parents to teach your kids about that kind of stuff. Absolutely. I don't know. I think there's more important things to do than to deal with that stupid stuff. Screaming Eagle, it's called dropping your flag, killable offense against the gangs. Yeah, and like I said, we'll get to that story where these illegals are claiming they're not gang members because they're scared of the Supermax. They weren't scared of the Supermax when they were attacking Americans and living here for free in a 5-star hotel with $15,000 on their EBT card. They were totally fine with being gang members then. They're getting rounded up and deported. All of a sudden, they're like, nah, I'm just some poor border crosser. I'm not a gang member. Come on, man. Yeah, Meta, I hear you. Guess who? They do it because they're registered Democrats. That is right. They do it to themselves. What's up, Dirtbike Freedom? Happy freedom to you. Dirtbag Freedom, the DARE program in grade school brought examples of how pot pipes and homemade bongs were made and drugs are bad. That's how to make one, basically. That's interesting. I remember the DARE program coming in and describing stuff like that, but they didn't show us actual drug paraphernalia or anything like that. And they were trying to get us to narc on our parents, which, that's kind of whatever, but that was the big thing when DARE came to our school. It was like, did your parents have any of these things in their house? If so, you should come tell us. And it was like, nah, never seen any of that stuff in my life. What's up, Leanne? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Visions? Happy freedom to you. Leanne, no one asked what type of books the mean Austrian was burning. Well, Ron DeSantis, I can't remember if it was I think it was last school year. He was trying to get rid of those LGBXYZ books, and the black community, as they called themselves, came out to say that he was erasing black culture from the school. And they were like suing him and saying they were talking about book burning, book bans, calling him a Nazi and stuff like that. And they were doing everything they could to mislabel what was happening, to get sympathy from normies who didn't know what was going on. It's very much like what they're doing with the MS13 gang member Garcia, right, who's in El Salvador. According to the Democrats, he's just some poor father from Maryland. He's not a gang member. He's not a human trafficker. He's not a woman beater. He's just some poor father from Maryland. And that's what they were doing at the schools last year in Florida, is they were saying, oh, Ron DeSantis, he's banning books and he's canceling black culture and blah, 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 blah. But it was all about that. It was about LGBXYZ books being in 4th grade classes, I believe it was. And as far as I know, that kind of took a stalemate. I think the books are still in school because of that, because they made it look like he was being a dictator. He was being an asshole. He was enforcing censorship. But it's not censorship. It's inappropriate for children. period. Like, if they're 18, good, go read whatever book you want to. But if you're not, that's not appropriate for children. In most schools, all the way until you get to college, you're dealing with children. You're dealing with minors. And so, the Democrats, they just twist everything. They're vile. They are vile. What's up, Hair Juicer? What's up, Sam? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Karma Carson? Happy freedom to you. All right, hooligans, we're going to get into this next one. Like I said, RFK Jr. to unveil plan to remove synthetic dyes from the food supply. Now, this isn't going to be just in a state. We did cover food dye bans for a specific state. I can't remember what state it was. I don't know if it was Colorado or Utah or something like that. But this is supposed to be nationwide. They're going to ban, I think it's 9 food dyes. And then they kind of give you a description of all of it. But near the end, they're going to start defending the food dyes and all this other stuff, which is really stupid. But it doesn't matter because it sounds like we're going to be pulling those food dyes, which I think is a good thing. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the Commie Tube, and let's get into this.
Today, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is poised to unveil his plan to remove certain synthetic dyes from the nation's food supply, one of his key priorities. The targeted color additives are found in hundreds of thousands of grocery store staples. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
New plans to eliminate potentially dangerous food dyes as Health Secretary Robert Kennedy takes on petroleum-based artificial coloring. He's expected to announce plans today to ban some of the most widely used food dyes in the U.S., phasing out certain additives over the next 2 years.
These dyes are not essential nutrients anyway, so for people who are concerned about this, it's good news because eliminating them from your diet entirely certainly won't hurt you.
The proposed ban, which will target 9 different dyes, would affect both food and medication and includes red number 40, the most common red dye in the U.S. Many of the dyes on the list are already banned in other countries, but experts question the need for a ban.
There are some studies that may show some evidence that there could be a link between artificial dyes and hyperactivity in children that hasn't been totally proven. And some of these dyes can cause hypersensitivity or allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. But aside from that, we don't have any really major evidence that at normal human levels of consumption, we're causing any harm to ourselves.
Food industry experts say brightly colored foods are more appealing and natural alternatives could cost more, leading to higher prices. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Okay, so like I said, at the end, they defend the food dyes. They said, well, there's nothing actually proving that it's bad for us. Oh, yeah? What proof do you have that it's good for us? None at all. We just like brightly colored food. Okay, but that doesn't make it good for us. Crackheads love crack. Okay, that doesn't make it good for you. So, again, they're trying to defend the food dyes and all of this, which is really ignorant. But that's okay because it's going to happen anyway. So they said over the next 2 years, they're going to be removing these 9 dyes from our food. And they believe that red 40 or whatever could be, this is that may could might language, it could be connected to hyperactivity, such as, all those kids that are being claimed to be ADHD and all that kind of stuff. We talk about that quite often, I suppose. But they're not sure. Now, they can't prove that the food dyes are good for us, so I say screw it. Pull the food dyes. I don't care if things aren't as brightly colored or not. It's about being healthy. It's like we always miss the point in what we're doing, like the school situation. Let's just opt out certain kids from reading inappropriate material at school versus actually removing the material from school. And this is the same kind of thing. So at least RFK Jr. is getting that done. Get these food dyes out. I wish they'd pull the fluoride from the water, but I guess all RFK Jr. has the ability to do is make the recommendation to pull fluoride from the water. He can't force these states and cities to actually do that. But hopefully we'll all end up in cities where they'll pull that fluoride from the water and we won't have to be drinking fluoride and having our IQ lowered any more than necessary. I mean, we watch a lot of Democrats and liberals on the live here, so I mean, you know, that's always going to affect your IQ, but it'd be nice if they pull the fluoride, and I'm excited for them to pull the dye out of food. We need to eat more natural stuff anyways, so the more they do this kind of stuff, the more the majority of the food at the grocery store will be natural, and that would be pretty badass in my opinion. Next up, notice of tort claim against, I don't know what this is, Kootenai County? I don't know where that is. Don't ask me because I don't know. You have to Google that. But anyways, this woman was being unruly in the middle of a town hall. She was asked to leave. She refused to leave, so they helped her leave. Now, of course, she went kicking and screaming like most Democrats, and now she's suing all these people and starting lawsuits because she feels that she was wronged by being carried up out of that building after acting an asshole. So anyways, that's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about RFK Jr. banning these food dyes. Sam, you only got 7 jumps this year? Well, hopefully we'll have a good summer and you'll be able to do some more skydiving. I'm looking forward to more footage. Your videos are awesome. Russell, we need to ban all food and H2O. Then we'd have to start eating the Democrats, and I'm sure they taste funny. What's up, Dutton? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Too Old to Care? Happy freedom to you. MC, absolutely ridiculous. They try and defend this crap. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really weird. I was thinking about this earlier today. That we perceive that we all, like, are interpreting things the same. So I was thinking about this, like I said earlier, I was driving, and we assume that everyone will watch the same thing and have the same ideas. And I don't know if that's just natural human nature or what, but it's like, say we're all in a theater, we're all watching the same movie. We all assume everyone around us is having the same kind of thoughts about what we're perceiving. But doing this political stuff for the last 5 years that I've been doing it, I've realized that we can all watch the same thing and have very different opinions. Not just opinions on the follow-up, right? So we witness something, then we state our opinion about it. Not just those differences, but have completely different views on what we just watched. And I was just explaining this to somebody. Like, you know, we could all watch a video about a red car, and I'll say it's a red car. But person 2 will say it's a maroon car. And the person 3 will say it's burgundy. And we all got 3 separate points of view of the same damn thing that we're looking at. And then we can all argue about it and act like we're all right in our own way. I'm surprised we made it this far as a human race because of that. And, you know, like they just said, someone had just said in the comment, why is there people defending this? Same thing with the books, inappropriate content being in schools. Why would anyone defend that? You would think putting inappropriate content in a school would be a bad idea to the public, and the public would say, don't do that. But for some reason, we can't do that. We cannot agree on shit. There's always somebody who thinks that the bad thing, the wrong thing to do, is something we should all be doing. Like stopping the mass deportation. They care so much about these illegals getting due process, but nobody gave a shit when it came to the J6ers being political prisoners. Nobody was worried about due process then, but we're deporting MS13 and Tren de Aragua gang members, rapists, murderers, kidnappers, drug dealers, human traffickers. Oh no, what about their due process? That's dumb. That's dumb. Why do we even listen to those people? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm about sick of everybody's opinions. Like, we need to do what's right and just, you know, fuck everybody else. Like, I'm tired of people standing up for this stuff that's wrong. Food dye is wrong. Inappropriate content in school is wrong. Keeping these illegal murderers here is wrong. So, like, why listen to that, you know? I don't know. It's driving me nuts. I'm having a day. Screaming Eagle, people are already stupid. Let them be even more stupid. When you know, you know. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we are. Cricket Kiss information war. Yeah, that is absolutely what it is. Meta petroleum-based dyes. Gonna research this further. Yeah, it absolutely sounds like something we should not be putting in our food. Except condensed reality. Happy freedom to you. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Man, other countries said that those dyes are dangerous, and it's the reason why only America has it. Yeah, see, and that's exactly what I mean. Like, we understand right from wrong, but then some Yahoo walks by and goes, no, the wrong thing is something we should keep around, and we're like, all right, let's keep the wrong thing around just, for the guy in the back, so he can have it his way too. I don't understand that. It's just as bad as the DEI hire crap. We got the best of the best. Nah, let's just go with a bunch of randos over here and see how that goes. Why? Well, their feelings might hurt. Well, fuck their feelings. Stupid. Who cares? Who cares if their feelings hurt? You ever been punched in the face? Because you ain't worrying about your feelings when you're worrying about your face. I'm just saying. Anyways. Hey, thanks for being here, Visions. SagePub, maybe if they can get more people involved in the sin, it would make them feel better about themselves for being perverted. It's true. Misery loves company. And that probably is it. It's just crazy that people don't feel shame. So they're willing to go out there and go, yeah, I'm doing this terrible thing and I support it. And you guys should not eliminate it so I can continue to participate in this bad thing. And other people are like, I've always wanted to try that bad thing too. Maybe you're right. Like, it's the devil speaking up. That's what it is. Hair juicer. Don't badmouth crack. You'll summon the U-Hill. Yeah, he's probably here watching, beating off right now. Anyways, we'll go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, this next one is notice of tort claim against, I don't know what this is, Coon-10A County. I'm sure I'm not saying that right, but that is a mouthful there. Anyways, you just calm the fuck down there. We got quiet videos followed by loud videos. Anyways, like I said, this woman was forcibly removed from, I think it was a town hall, and something like that, some formal gathering. She was being unruly. They told her to leave. She didn't want to leave, so then they forced her to leave. Now she's pressing charges. Hit that like button if you got one, and let's get into this.
This man is assaulting me! This man is assaulting me!
Okay, now before we get any further, I want to remind you guys really quick. Look at everybody else in the crowd, right? She's outraged. She was wronged. She wants money and attention and all this shit, right? And she's surrounded by 250 people, something like that. Look at everybody else in the crowd when you're seeing this go on. This helps with the context.
Woman dragged out of a town hall meeting in Kootenai County is now taking her first step towards legal action against the county. She's filed a notice of tort claim detailing the physical and emotional damages she says she suffered that day. Teresa Borenpaul's lawyer says this is not a lawsuit. It's a notice required under Idaho state law as a first step towards legal action. In the notice, Borenpaul estimates Kootenai County Sheriff Bob Norris, Kootenai County GOP Chairman Brent Reagan, and others involved are liable for at least $5 million in damages. These include physical injury and harm to her dignity and reputation.
It really does feel scary to have, this security group out there, and knowing how they treated me in front of 450 people. It's really quite terrifying to think, what they could do to me beyond. So it's just been a really difficult thing physically, psychologically, and reputationally.
Borenpaul's lawyer says the county could respond in several ways, and there's a possibility this could end before a lawsuit takes place. If Kootenai County does not respond, it'll be considered a denial. After this, Borenpaul can take whatever legal action she needs to. When we reached out, the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office did not wish to comment at this time. We also reached out to members of the KCRCC and Lear Asset Management for comment, but did not get a response. Borenpaul and her attorney are now waiting to hear back from the county, which has 90 days to respond to the notice.
Okay. Like I said, try to give a little context there. She's outraged due to injury and I don't know, whatever she said, hurting her reputation and this, that, and the other. She needs $5 million to make this all better. $5 million is all it'll take. She'll make this little lawsuit just go away. It'll be no big deal. Like, I don't understand. Who told her to do this? Like, who was like, yeah, this is a good idea? You went there, act like an asshole. They told you to leave. You refused to leave. They forced you to leave. Now you're going to sue everybody for $5 million doll hairs. Is that what you went there for? Because that's what it kind of sounds like. You went there, you didn't participate, now you need $5 million. Me too, buddy. If she gets it, I'm going to the next town hall. I'm just saying. I'm going to kick and scream like a child right in the aisleway. I need $5 million and I need it right now. I'm like, I don't know. Stupid. They better not pay her. They better not. Like, we cannot keep rewarding stupidity. It is hurting us. It is hurting us as a country. We need to stop this. And like I said, she wins. You're going to see me at the next town. I'm going live. You ain't going to see nothing but this, because I'm just going to be kicking and screaming and hollering that my hoo-ha hurts and all that kind of stuff. I need $5 million doll hairs and I need it now. Like, I don't know. Stupid. So stupid. Anyways, that's hardly news, but I saw that and I was like, nah, we gotta play that, because that's just ridiculous. Get her some cash and sympathy quick. She needs it. Next up, Secret Service pursuing leads in Noem restaurant robbery. Kristi Noem got her purse stolen while she was sitting in a restaurant. I can't even believe it. Had her badge in it. They can access the Capitol and stuff now. They took her phone. They probably took her tampons. I mean, they took everything. Medication. I think she said $2,000 or $3,000. I think it's $3,000 in cash. They said, well, it was a dude in a mask. Oh, Democrat. Okay. But it doesn't sound like they're even going to find the guy. You would think they'd be able to if they took her phone. Either way, it's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this crazy lady from Kootenai County. Russell, I'll give her a crack pipe to go away. We got to go find those White House crack pipes that Biden was giving away. She earned it. That's crazy, Zero. At least you got a postcard, though. That's cool. Russell, that woman is unhinged. The TDS is high with that lady. She was high, all right. What's up, Information Warlord? Happy freedom to you. Dunn, don't you know that phone tracking only works when it's against you? Yeah, seems that way. I think you're onto something. Rappy, I don't think people were told no enough when they were kids, and it shows. Absolutely. Told Kara she had given her the ice bucket challenge. It has straightened her right out. What's up, Mike T? Happy freedom. Is she the only one who's right and the whole world is wrong? That's what it looks like. And that's why I was trying to tell you guys, look at the crowd. Look at everybody else. Because she's like, well, my feelings and my self-esteem and my reputation's been damaged, and I need $5 million to make it back. That's it's scary to think that this security's out here doing this to people. Oh, it's scary? Because everybody else in the crowd was like clapping and holding their phones up and pointing and laughing at her and stuff. I don't think anybody was really that outraged. I think they were thankful that she was carried up out of there. So, it's ridiculous. She's on her own. She is on her own with this. That's what I'm saying. They better not let her win that lawsuit, because you don't get to just go up. She was acting disorderly. They should have had her arrested. That's what they should have did. They did her a favor by forcing her out of the building. They should have called the police and got her for disorderly. She could have did 90 days in jail and paid $500 in fines, and then maybe she wouldn't be sitting here with all this damn entitlement. But no, they tried to do her a favor and just carry her out, and now look, bit them right in the ass. Tiger Jaw, doesn't she have Secret Service detail with her? How does that occur? Tiger Jaw, I don't know. I was kind of thinking the same thing. You would think she'd have Secret Service and somehow got her purse stolen. Pretty soon they're going to ban purses from Capitol Hill. They're going to say, nah, you can't have TikTok on your phone and you can't carry a purse. It's a threat to national security. Screaming Eagle, she had Secret Service detail, but they were at the bar supposedly. I don't even know what to say to that. I'm trying not to be a Debbie Downer today, but Jesus loves us, man. People are stupid. Dunn, did you guys cover Nancy Mace yesterday with the shapeshifter? No, I did see. It was an interview, I think, with Sean Hannity and Nancy Mace, and the gay dude came and approached her in the aisle and was calling her the B word and all that. And I know yesterday, or maybe it was the day before yesterday, there was some shapeshifter that walked up to the stage she was on and grabbed the plant that was on stage as if they were going to throw it at her. But the videos were too long. They were just too long and a little bit too redundant, and we had other stuff to cover. But maybe if I come across shorter videos, we'll cover it. There wasn't a whole lot to it, but it is interesting. Now, Nancy Mace has said that she is under attack a lot more in the last 6 months, and it's because of Tim McBride. Tim McBride, who pretends to be Sarah McBride, it's the first shapeshifter to be elected to Congress. When they came to Capitol Hill for the new Congress that happened, there was a big debate over what bathroom Tim is allowed to use, and Nancy Mace stood up and was like, we're not going to let dudes in our bathrooms. And she was out raising awareness about that, and ever since then, she's been getting attacked by shapeshifters and people like that, people who sympathize with shapeshifters and all of that. So we'll see. If I can find those clips by themselves, we'll probably play it tomorrow, but otherwise the interview she's been doing is like 8-9 minutes long, and I just kind of feel like to spend 9 minutes talking about a 15-second clip is a little bit overboard, but either way, we'll see. Told to care everyone should sue her for trauma of having to watch her tantrum. That's an idea right there. Heck yeah, she wins money off the county and then she loses it all in attorney fees from dealing with other lawsuits against her. That's fair. That is fair. Russell, hell, a woman got like $10 million for spilling coffee on her hoo-ha. If I had a hoo-ha. I need $10 million right now. I'd be happy with $1 million. I don't even need $5 million. $5 million, I'm putting $4 million into the Hooligan Island, and we're all moving. Zero, this is why we got to remove all the warning labels. Yeah. Meta, great philosophical analogy on perception. Same note. How many perceive exactly the same? That's true, Meta. And you know, really, that's why we got Discord and all of that stuff. So everyone can go hang out with other like-minded individuals instead of just being out there in the wild dealing with lefties being crazy and stuff like that. And I mean, people have different opinions and stuff. It's not an echo chamber, but it's people who want America to be great, but we got people who are not Americans that are there that just want their own country to be great. People who are pretty much just tired of stupid people hanging out in Discord as well as jeffmaclive.com. That's why you got to join the communities. Guess who? They also stole Tulsi Gabbard's handbag a day earlier. Interesting. Well, see, and the reason we're covering this, let me see how long the video is. I write the times down and everything. It's 2 minutes. There's not a lot of information in this story, but I wanted to cover it so we could take note of it. So if something bad happens in the next week or two, especially on Capitol Hill or whatever, we'll have an idea of how they got in the building because they stole Kristi Noem's badge. You can duplicate those NFIDs or whatever's in the badge, the frequency that it puts off to allow you through locked doors. You can duplicate that stuff with really cheap hardware you can get off eBay and stuff like that. And so it makes me wonder if that's why they're targeting these people and stealing their bags, is so they can get their access pass and duplicate that frequency. So then anybody can go into these restricted areas who have these badges. What's up, Rich? What's up, Chewy? Happy Freedom. Chewy, now they should throw her in jail for clogging up the court system and fine her $10 million. Yeah, for real. What's up, Watchman? Happy Freedom. Watchman, Boost Mobile sucks. Can't watch on Rumble. Oh, that sucks. Well, I appreciate you being here, Watchman. Either way, happy freedom to you. What's up, Hooligans Island? Happy freedom to you. Dems will probably blame the end of the Pope on Vance since he was there the day before. Yeah, they are. They're saying that J.D. Vance was too much for the Pope to handle, so the Pope kicked the bucket. He couldn't handle hanging out with J.D. Vance because J.D. Vance is such a terrible person. Yeah, the Dems have been saying that for a couple days now. They're a bunch of idiots. What's up, Proud Patriot Girly? Happy freedom to you. What's up, False Flag? Happy freedom to you. Watchmen, 5 million. I'm going to a town hall. That's what I'm saying. If they give her 5 million, I'm running. I'm skipping to the town hall. Get my 5 million. It's a blonde beard. Happy freedom. Blonde beard, I would argue that most of the people pushing for the degeneracy in our schools don't even have kids. I bet you're right, blonde beard. I bet you are right. Sam, I'd be happy with 1,000. I was born a poor white child. Yes, Sam. Zero, the badges are immediately shut off. The copies won't work. If everyone does what they're supposed to do, just like the Secret Service being at the bar instead of protecting Kristi Noem. So, yeah, I mean, they're supposed to shut that stuff off, but if they don't, people will access those restricted areas. And that's kind of the theme of today. We could fix these problems, but we spend too much time treating the symptoms. Sage Pub, maybe an outhouse behind the building for shapeshifters. There you go. Yeah, I've been saying that for a while now. Give them an outhouse out back. They want their own bathroom. There you go. Go shit in a hole. Holy. What's up, Break a Leg? Happy freedom to you. All right, hooligans. Let's get into this next one. Like I said, Secret Service pursuing leads in Nome restaurant robbery. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick. If you would like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out as we're making Saturdays more fun. We're going to have so many memes this Saturday because last Saturday I went to a protest instead of doing coffee with hooligans. We're going to have like a whole hour of memes on Saturday. It's going to be a good time. Either way, let's get this pulled up about how Kristi Noem got her purse stolen. It sucks. It sucks. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Well, as Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem works to make America safer, the crime crisis in our nation's capital remains a major problem even for Kristi Noem. The senior national correspondent Kevin Corke is live in D.C. with what happened. Kevin, good evening.
Evening to you, Trace. The Secret Service has reviewed security footage from a restaurant where Secretary Noem's purse was stolen last night. It's actually believed a, quote, unknown white male wearing a medical mask stole the bag and then left the restaurant. Gone were her purse, her DHS access badge, her passport, driver's license, blank checks, keys, even medication. What's more, she had $3,000 in cash inside the bag, about which the DHS said tonight her entire family was in town, including her children and grandchildren. She was using the cash withdrawal to treat her family to dinner, activities, and Easter gifts. The Noem incident, one of over 400 robberies so far this year in D.C., though overall robberies are actually way down 32%. Property crime down 5% year to date. Overall crime off by some 8% again year to date, according to D.C. Metro. All of which sounds encouraging, especially coming on the heels of the president's executive order to make our nation's capital safe and beautiful, which, among other things, is calling for a surge in law enforcement in public areas to enhance safety. Which, of course, doesn't answer the simple question: how on earth could a Secret Service protectee get robbed in a public space? And while the search for answers continues, the agency says it's pursuing leads to locate and apprehend the mysterious white man with a medical mask. Trace.
Kevin Corke live for us in D.C. Kevin, thank you.
You bet.
I'm Steve.
Oh no, the white man with a medical mask? They're definitely going to get that guy. Holy, you know he was a Trump supporter. You know he had a Trump mask on. That's what they're going to say. This white supreme pizza came out of nowhere, just hijacked this purse. Goofy. This is just embarrassing, really. This shouldn't be happening. She has Secret Service detailing all of that, and this just the white man with the medical mask just duped her real quick, just took the purse and took off. Maybe he just liked her style. Maybe he didn't want the belongings. He just wanted to strut around with a nice handbag on, be good to go. I don't know. It's hard to take anything serious at this point. Next up, tariff impact. What will be more expensive? This is propaganda. They're trying to push for panic buying. They're trying to cause the COVID toilet paper incident all over again in this next video. Flat out propaganda telling you to be really, really scared because of the tariffs. You'll never be able to afford anything again. And they even suggest stocking up on cheese and wine. And I'm pretty sure. I think they suggest 3 things, but those are 2 of the 3 things. I don't know. It's propaganda. Don't worry about it. Either way, before we get into it, I want to read through the chat and see what you hooligans think about Kristi Noem getting her purse stolen. Zero, DC isn't reporting all the crime. Yeah. I don't think most places are. They're so worried about Trump. That's all the news talks about. Is, oh, the mean orange man. He's trying to kick out all these raping illegals. And like, that's not even bad news. That's a good thing, you idiots. The news is stupid, though. It's just the way it is. Russell should have been wearing a fanny pack. That's right. That's right. It never happened wearing a fanny pack. Or sticking her badge in her boobs. You know how women used to do? They not do that anymore? Sticking your cash in your tits? That's what I'd do if I had tits. I'd feel like a stripper. I'd just have money all over the place. Russell, 3K will never be recovered. Yeah, that's gone. Russell, they take lost credentials seriously and they shut them off quick. I hope so. Because I don't want to be covering something in 2 weeks about how some mysterious white man in a medical mask gained access to a restricted area. Like, that'll be so dumb. I will never shut up about it if I have to cover that damn video in a week or 2. Russell, I never put cash in my wallet. Yeah, I don't either. I actually found out that Gen Z thinks that ankle socks and wallets are for boomers. That if you are wearing ankle socks or if you keep a wallet on you, you're an old man. And I think that's weird. Because the Gen Z, they want knee-high socks. And I guess they just want their ID floating around in their pocket. I don't know. They can't read or write or do math, so... I'm not saying we should take advice from these people. I just thought it was humorous when I heard that. So next, Jeff a stripper. I'd be a stripper too, yeah. I mean, I'd be terrible. If I was a woman, I'd be making money different ways. I'll tell you that. I would not be respectable, but I'd be wealthy. Russ, I used to wear cowboy boots and all my money went in there. That's interesting. I have never thought about doing that. I used to see people stick money in their socks, like the top of their socks or whatever, but I sweat too much for that. I can't be doing stuff like that. I just put my cash in my pocket, but most of the time, I don't use cash. For a while around here, you couldn't. They wouldn't accept it. You could only make purchases with a card when we were in the lockdowns. Like if you went to Walmart and you bought something for $19.12, you gave them $20 and they gave you a receipt. They just kept your change. And if you made a real big deal about it, they'd put your change on a Walmart card. You'd come back with 89 cents on your Walmart card. But that was it. Otherwise, they would just keep your change. And I think all that stuff is illegal. But of course, like I tell you guys all the time, it's small town around here. People do whatever they want because there's nobody overseeing what happens here. And so for a long time, you couldn't return pop cans, which not all states even do that, but we do that here in Michigan. You get 10 cents for pop cans. They weren't doing that during the lockdowns. You couldn't use cash during the lockdowns. Now nobody recycles pop cans, and everybody uses cards for everything because we got conditioned for 4 years during the lockdowns. Snook's not respectable? Yeah, no, if I was a woman, I wouldn't be respectable. I mean, it'd be so bad I couldn't sit on a stool because I would just fall over it. But anyways. Zero, glad all that dude wanted was a purse. He was close enough that he could have killed her. Yeah. I mean, that would have been stupid, but yeah, these lefties are pretty stupid. That's what makes them crazy. They don't know any better because they act like imbeciles. Yeah, we'll see if she ever finds her purse. up, mofo? Happy freedom to you. Everybody's talking about what they would do if we had titties. I love this job. This is the best job ever. Information warlord, the lockdowns were used to transfer wealth from the poor to the rich. Yeah, well, I think it was a lot of things. I think that agenda had a lot of benefits for them and not for us. What's up, Janet? Happy freedom to you. Done. I've been seeing a lot of commercials for Sam's Club, paying with your phone, so much push for a cashless society. Yeah. I don't know about paying with your phone with an Android, but I know iPhone has like Apple Pay or whatever. And people have been fighting Walmart about it because they want Walmart to use Apple Pay, and there's some reason that Walmart won't do it. And iPhone users are all bent out of shape about it. Sage, but if I had tits, I don't think I'd leave the house. Yeah, I don't think I would either. Done. I have money clips. They make you seem cooler. That's true. That's true. If I see you bust out a money clip, I'm going to think you're pretty cool. It's inevitable. Appreciate you, Tori Wayne. Thank you. MC, very bad look. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's kind of embarrassing. We have somebody with Secret Service detail get their purse stolen. It's no good. Cricket Kiss certainly seems targeted. Yeah, I didn't know that Tulsi Gabbard got her bag stolen or whatever it was, her wallet. It seems strategic. Screaming Eagle, $5,000 Gucci purse. Was it really? I kind of not surprised, but I don't know. Astral Hammer, that is hilarious. I can't read it verbatim, but it says, that reminds me of an insult we used to throw at each other when we were kids. I called your dad a flamboyant person, and he hit me with his purse. I love that, Astral Hammer. That is hilarious. What's up, Viola? Happy freedom to you. Meta, so the terrorist attack in India is JD's fault too. He and the family were 3 miles away from the shooting. I mean, that's how the Democrats are. They're blaming JD Vance, right? They're saying it's JD's fault that the Pope died. JD's just so terrible that him meeting the Pope is what caused him to kick the bucket. And I actually don't know anything about the terrorist attack that happened in India. My attention span is not very good. I'm like, oh no, something tragic happened outside the U.S. Never mind. And I don't know. It's because I cover so much news here. I don't have enough to give to the rest of the world. I just don't. Tori Wayne, my grandma got her purse stolen on her way from Texas to Minnesota to see us. Had a bunch of cash too. She hates using a card. She had to go home after that. That sucks, Tori Wayne. Yeah, these criminals suck. They're the worst. What's up, Jim? Happy freedom. What's up, Rhyme Time? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Juggalo? Juggalo, there's usually no terror attacks in India. That's an inside job. Interesting. Now you guys are kind of tempting me to go read about it. Hooligans Island, there's probably a Dem mole or moles working amongst Kristi Noem and Secret Service. Definitely could be. What's up, Energy Woman? Happy freedom. Jim, in some places in Washington, you can use your debit card for marijuana shops. You can do that here. All the dispensaries, you can use your card. What's up, Tommy Two Guns? Happy freedom. What's up, Real Dan? Happy freedom to you. Yeah, it is embarrassing. Stuff like that shouldn't happen. You're protected by Secret Service. You get robbed. The best description you got is a white dude with a medical mask. Well, thank God that's only half the country. Like, I'm sure they'll track that guy down quick. What's up, TPP? Happy freedom to you. Yeah, Russell, you were telling us about your Armani suit from Korea. I'm gonna have to go to Korea. I think it's only like 23 hours on a plane. I'd be dead. They'd have to pull me out of a casket. They're just escorting a casket off the plane. They're like, what happened? Jeff Mack, he's just dramatic as shit. Can't ride on planes, fucking sissy. That's okay. As long as I make it, that's all that matters. What's up, MU? Happy freedom. MU, my wallet is a golf tee bag in my jacket pocket. Well, you styling, MU. You styling. These young kids, they're just keeping money in their... Well, they ain't got no money. But if they had money, it'd just be in their pockets. They don't believe in wallets. What's up, Vinny C? Happy freedom. What's up, Itchy? Happy freedom to you. All right, hooligans. Let's get into this propaganda here. Don't be tempted by it. I mean, you do as you wish. You're free hooligans. But I think that this is propaganda. This is titled Tariff Impacts, What Will Be More Expensive and When to Buy. Not de-buy, but to buy. Leave it to News Nation to tell you what to be scared of. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube. And let's get into this.
All right, welcome back, everybody. 10 minutes to the top of the hour. If you thought that tariffs would really only impact you if you're planning on buying something big, like a car, maybe a new smartphone, a laptop, think again, my friends. You might want to start stocking up on things like coffee, chocolate, and cheese. News Nation's Mills Hayes has the story. I've been stocking up on coffee, chocolate, and cheese for a long time.
Right.
I just now have justification to do so.
Exactly. I'm going to the wine shop after this, so I know what I need to get. But this is crazy. A lot of changes.
Stocking up on before these hikes take place.
Personally, I might say anything you want, but if we're actually being serious, it needs to be things that maybe you are planning for. We're talking electronics, food, energy, all those kinds of things. And the best time to buy actually may surprise you. If you've been thinking about buying a new couch, sneakers, or even chocolate, the time might be now. The Trump administration's sweeping new tariffs mean higher costs for many imported products, from furniture to coffee. A lot of uncertainty.
What I wouldn't do is make any big life-changing purchases or changes in spending based on the current situation, because you just don't know if it's going to change next week. And that's what a lot of business leaders I deal with are really frustrated by.
Though tariffs are aimed at foreign companies, the reality is American consumers foot the bill. And it's not just imported goods seeing price hikes. Domestic brands often follow suit to keep pace. Economists say expect higher price tags soon for furniture, followed by electronics, home appliances, shoes, and clothing.
Sofas, furniture, home kind of things, those have been outsourced for decades now. And the ability to make those things at a price Americans would find acceptable in this country is nearly impossible.
Even grocery staples like cheese, coffee, chocolate, spice, and nuts could become noticeably pricier. Consumer spending is already pulling back. A new study from the Kearney Consumer Institute says tariff concerns are prompting many shoppers to hold off on major purchases, signaling potential trouble for an already cautious economy. The White House delayed some tariffs briefly, but with summer fast approaching, expect to see prices climb as current inventories run out. And I was just telling you, Marky, that if you do like to shop at Shein or Temu, their prices are going to be going up in about 4 days. So maybe shop now.
Hey, yeah, good to know, because families everywhere and buyers everywhere are bracing for impact on what this might look like. All right, Mills, thank you so much. Thanks for watching.
I like how at the end they're like, yeah, if you're going to shop at these bulk China retailers, their prices are going to go up in 4 days. So make sure you hit up Shein and Temu now. Like, what, did they get paid for advertisement or what? I don't think people should shop from those places at all. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I hear about people getting their credit card numbers stolen and all this stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, you're buying shit off TikTok and Temu and Shein and everything else. Like, yeah, you're dealing with China Direct. You're wondering how your numbers are getting stolen? That's how, right there. Oh, but I wanted to get my whole dresser set for $4.50. Yeah, and it's not gonna last. It's crap. You get what you pay for. You buy crap, it'll be crap. So I don't know why they even said that. But again, they're just pushing big scary tariffs. That's what it is. We've already been experiencing the price increase, and we knew that this was gonna happen But I think they said 70 world leaders have already been scheduled to meet with President Trump to discuss zero tariffs because it's reciprocal. It's weird that Democrats have no problem with everyone putting tariffs on us. But when we do reciprocal tariffs, meaning if you put 40% tariffs on us, we're putting 40% tariffs on you. All of a sudden, the Democrats don't believe in an eye for an eye. Well, that's weird coming from them because they're quick to get violent and all that shit. What goes around comes around. So I don't know. They're just out here fear-mongering. Like I said, they're pushing for panic buying. They want to cause the COVID toilet paper incident all over again. Go get your cheese, get your wine, or else you're not going to make it. I don't know. It's just propaganda. That's all it seems like to me. I assume we'll continue to see high prices, but once we get these negotiations done with these 70 world leaders that have already signed up to come to the White House, one by one, we will see products go back down to reasonable prices. I just believe that. Now, the only thing that stands in the way of that is greedy shops, right? So if you go to Walmart, you go to Meijer, you go to your local mom and dad grocery store, these prices are going to be different. Now, if you got people who are price gouging, like we're seeing it with eggs, eggs have come down 50-60% from where they were when everyone was crying their little eyes out. But some places are still high priced. That's because they know you'll pay the price. If you'll pay $8 for eggs, why would they change the price? They'll just leave it that way and just continue to sell $8 eggs. But you go down the street and get it for $3 or $4. You just have to make the trip. Don't let them, charge you like that. And that's the problem, is greed. We've got a lot of places that are just price gouging. And so they're taking advantage of this tariff situation. They're taking advantage of scared Dems because they're the target audience, right? Oh no, eggs are $8. That sucks. But they keep coming back and paying $8 for eggs. And they enjoy it because they get to bitch about Trump as if it's his fault. The chicken flu is Trump's fault. And so they go, oh yeah, today I bought $9 eggs because Trump sucks. Well, yeah, you could have drove 2 minutes down the street and got them for $4, but continue to be miserable and hating your life, They're the target audience. So, again, I believe that's propaganda. If you think that things are going to be expensive, then enjoy going out there buying cheese and wine. But I'm really not that worried about it. Next up, Putin stuns with surprise offer of direct talks with Kyiv for the first time in years. Now, we heard, I think it was last week, President Trump mentioned that we're supposed to be signing a mineral deal with Russia and Ukraine on Thursday. So in 2 days. We're supposed to be signing some sort of deal. We've also been hearing that the U.S. wants to kind of go hands off. If we can't get Ukraine and Russia to agree on a peace deal, we're going to stop messing with them because we're wasting our time and money trying to get them to do something they don't want to do. Now this offer is kind of coming out of nowhere where they may negotiate their own peace deal, which is probably good. We didn't got to babysit everybody anyways. So either way, this is what's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this propaganda about panic buying. Astrohammer, I still stock up on canned goods, but dang, microplastics in every single thing. Yeah, Astrohammer, I'm the same way. I got Raymond's noodles and canned food and bottled water and all kinds of stuff. I keep it stocked up just in case. You never know when you're going to need it. I even keep bottled water in the car just in case. But I'm not going out there to panic buy. I'm just not. It's just whatever's whatever. I ain't got the money to do it. I ain't got the money to go buy $600 in extra shit. I just don't. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, these videos, they don't sway me. Russell, I have survival food too. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but at Walmart, they sell like survival food kits. If you go where the ketchup is, like, it's ketchup, mayonnaise, dressing, all that kind of, it's all in one aisle at Walmart. On the bottom shelf, on one side or the other, there's these square totes. I don't know where mine are right now, otherwise I'd show you, but they're like this tall, like this wide, they're white, and they're like buckets, and there's 72-hour kits or something like that. It's got 72 hours worth of food in it for like 4 or 5 people. So if you're on your own, you're talking like a shit ton of food, like a week's worth of food. And the shelf life is good. It's like 5 years or 10 years or something like that. And it's about $20, $25 for each bucket. I've got like 4 or 5 of them. It's good to have just in case. And you can get it at Walmart instead of having to order online or whatever. I'm sure there's better companies you could buy this from. But if you just want to get something just to start off, maybe throw it in the shed, put it at the cabin up by the lake, or just whatever, put it in the back of your truck in case you need it. It's worth $20. I sat here and ate it. I cooked it up just to see what it tastes like. It's fine. It's like a chicken. It's a chicken flavored cheese and broccoli rice or something like that. It's one of the main packets. There's all kinds of stuff in it. But the food's okay for survival food. It's fine. It's not going to beat, going to Bob Evans or something, but it's all right. And like I said, it's like $20, $25 at Walmart. It's in the aisle where the ketchup and all that shit is. Bottom shelf, near one of the ends. You'll find it. It's worthwhile. Astra Hammer, you just got to add 5 canned goods every time you go grocery shopping. Pretty soon, before you know it, you're stocked up for a week, like a month, and more. Yep, Astra Hammer. I do the same thing. I get 2 of those, like Hungry. It's not Hungry Man. I can't remember what it is. It's a Campbell's protein soup. They got like steak and vegetables and stuff like that. It's like $4 a can. I usually get 2 of those every time I go, and I just throw them in my shelves just in case I need it. Oh, absolutely, Snooks. Russell, I'm going to start laying eggs, $25 a dozen. What? You going to lay some eggs, Russell? I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Russell's the Easter Bunny. I didn't know that. Russell, reciprocal tariffs make sense. I think so. But the news is constantly demonize it, and normies, well, they don't have anybody telling them positive things. It's only negative things. Done. I always tell my wife, if we're going to make a meal, get 2 of whatever we're going to use to replace and stock up. Yep. Yeah, and you also got to practice first in, first out. And I do a lot of that. If I'm buying ramen noodles or canned food or water or whatever for stocking up on supplies just to have, I'm at the point where I got too much. I got too much stuff where I'm not going to be able to carry it. I'm only one person. That's the other thing. Don't buy more food than you can carry unless you're in the middle of the woods where you can stay. Where I'm at, I couldn't stay. If things were going bad, I couldn't just sit here in the apartment complex. It ain't going to be okay. So I only got enough to carry. If I can't carry it, then I don't need it. It's a waste. I'm just, at that point, I'm building supplies for whoever storms the house. So at that point, I use what's the oldest and then restock it. And I just kind of do that. Because otherwise, you got food 6-7 years old sitting in the tote or whatever, and it ain't even good anymore. Done. I have a friend that keeps buying watches from Temu. They're crap and only last a week or 2, but they look cool. Yeah, Dutton. They do got cool looking stuff on there, but like I said, I really think that stuff, the whole point of those Temu shops and stuff is to obtain your credit card information. That's just my belief. It's just what I believe, but that's why I don't mess with them. What's up, Josh 1776? Happy freedom. Hair juicer. I have 3 months of emergency food from the whole family, and that's after we empty our pantries and freezer. Hell yeah, hair juicer. J Spray, no, we're not talking about prison wallets. Come on, man. Happy freedom, J Spray. Done. If you're gonna use Temu, use a prepaid card. Yeah, that's good advice. Meta, $10 for a dozen eggs, large grade AA at Smart and Final in Orange County. That's pretty expensive. I was just at Walmart. It was $4 or $5 for a dozen large eggs. I don't know if they were AA. I don't know a lot about eggs, I guess, but I think the most expensive eggs I saw at Walmart were $4. I was just there Saturday. Meta, the Dems whining needs some cheese. You ain't wrong. What's up, Rad? Happy freedom to you. What is happening? The live's being weird over on Twitch? Man, Jeff Mack lives on turkey sandwiches. Nah, most of the week. Most of the week I do. Blondebeard, Temu is an attack on taxpayers. Our taxes cover the shipping of all that junk, not China. Yeah. What's up, Cheeky Chops? Happy freedom. What's up, Donna? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Tactical? Tactical, people were warned years ago. Let me read this correctly. People were warned for years. Prep and have enough food for a minimum of 6 months to a year, and the ones that thought it was bullshit are the ones who are bitching because they got caught with their pants down. Yeah, I think they were just saying something a couple of years ago. The Pentagon came out and said everybody needs to have at least 2 weeks worth of food and water at all times or whatever. Every time it comes out, I'm like, yeah, I'm covered. Josh 1776, eggs in Michigan are still $5 to $10 where I live, depending on what type you get. Yeah, I'll have to pay more closer attention next time I go to Walmart. I remember looking at it when I was walking by. I was trying to get stuff. I don't buy eggs, and so I looked just to keep track of the prices, and it was $4 something. I know they were large. I don't know if they were AA or anything like that, but I'll take a closer look next time. Like I said, we're going to get into this next story. This is Putin stuns with surprise offer of direct talk with Kyiv for the first time in years. Maybe they can get to a peace agreement here. We'll see. So here's gluten-free Putin. You like that? Anyways, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday proposed bilateral talks with Kyiv for the first time in years and said he was open to more ceasefires after a one-day Easter truce. Putin's comments come as he faces pressure from Washington to show a willingness to make peace in Ukraine. Speaking to a state TV reporter, he said Moscow was open to any peace initiatives and expected the same from Kyiv.
As we have always said, we look positively at any peace initiatives. We hope that the representatives of the Kyiv regime will also feel the same way. However, we have seen the initial reaction. I think everyone has noticed it. There was a statement published according to which our proposal was seen as a game with fates, with people's lives, and so on. But apparently there was someone smarter there who suggested, most likely from foreign overseers, that rejecting such initiatives is a losing position for the Kyiv regime, and they quickly agreed.
Both countries accused the other of violating Putin's truce, which Kyiv had largely dismissed from the outset as a stunt. Washington said it would welcome an extension of the truce. Zelensky, who has called for it to be extended to a 30-day ceasefire on civilian targets, said continued Russian attacks during Sunday's ceasefire showed Moscow was intent on prolonging the war. When asked about Zelensky's proposal, Putin said Russia should look into it. His spokesman later confirmed that Putin was referring to the possibility of direct talks with Ukraine. Separately, Zelensky confirmed Kyiv was sending a delegation to London to meet with the United States and other Western countries on Wednesday, follow-up from last week's meeting in Paris. In his statement on X, Zelensky made no reference to Putin's remarks on bilateral talks. Russia rejected a proposal from U.S. President Donald Trump last month for a full 30-day ceasefire, which Ukraine had accepted. The two sides are not known to have held any such talks since a failed peace effort in the early months of the war 3 years ago. Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio both said on Friday that Washington could walk away from peace talks in Ukraine altogether if the sides do not make more progress within days. Trump took a more optimistic view on Sunday, saying that hopefully the two sides would make a deal this week.
Okay. So like I said earlier, last week President Trump had mentioned that Thursday, this upcoming Thursday, we're supposed to be signing mineral deals with Russia and Ukraine. Now, I don't know any specifics on it. That's pretty much all President Trump had said. I can't remember what we were covering. Probably something to do with stupid Garcia and all of that. But either way, I assume on Thursday we'll have some type of follow-up with Russia and Ukraine. Maybe Putin and Zelensky will be talking with each other at that point. It's hard to say. But I assume on Thursday we'll have a live from President Trump. It'll be related to all of this, and we'll have a follow-up with the whole situation there. Next up, Americans targeted by cartel kidnappings. They're not making money like they used to by bringing in millions of illegals into the country. So now they're resorting to kidnapping Americans. Now I assume this is just people who are going to Mexico. Maybe they're trying to have a good time or whatever. They step outside the bounds and they get picked up by cartel. It happens quite often. We cover it every once in a while. Usually people end up dead in this situation. But either way, this is coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Ukraine and Russia. Maybe having a little talky talk. Astrohammer, my wife calls Putin Pooty Poot Cakes. That's nice. That's nice. Era 16, so sick of the doomers. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of that's blue news. Blue news is all about, you know, be real scared. Give up all your money. Give up all your rights. Go hide under your bed. Wear 2 masks. That's how it goes. Rep Curl, the government has always recommended 2 weeks. Then they switched to 3 months after the CV, and now they're saying 6 months. Hope people are paying attention because our government is going to help us much. No, the government's never here to help. And if they say they're here to help, it's time to run. Screaming Eagle, I usually just fill my cart with whatever I need and then walk out the back door. It's been working. Yeah, Screaming Eagle, I bet that does work. Hey, thank you for being here, Zero. Enjoy your family dinner. Poor lady's eating her family for dinner. Yes. What's up, Epsy? Happy freedom to you. I don't know what your name is, but that's where we're going to go with. What's up, Master Meatball? Happy freedom to you. $4.50 for a dozen eggs where you are. Yeah, that's about what it is here. Rad, I don't know why you're hearing static and stuff. I can't hear anything. Obviously, I don't have headphones on like other live streamers. I just pay attention to my little signal bar here. I'll check it after the live. There is a bunch I could do right now, but I haven't had anybody else saying they're hearing static. What's up, Sanford? Happy freedom. Sanford, AA for eggs mainly reflects the age of the egg. Freshest eggs are AA and older eggs are single A. Thank you for letting me know, Sanford. I had no idea that that was a thing. Hair juicer, pure is it pure tabs and life straws are good to keep? Not dying from cholera is surprisingly affordable. I don't know what any of that is. I do have some sort of life straw thing that's supposed to filter water. I'm gonna have to like Google everything you're saying in this comment here, hair juicer. I need to learn about this stuff, just in case. Sonux, the audio seems good where you are. Thank you for letting me know. Astra Hammer, we only have about 12 or 13 hens and often have more eggs than we know what to do with. It's a good problem to have right now. Jay Spray, Russia could have wiped out Ukraine a long time ago. Never show how strong your pimp hand is until necessary, especially when you know others are watching. Yeah, hopefully they can resolve this. Then we can have other problems instead of worrying about what Russia and Ukraine is doing. Master Moonball, thank you for joining us over here on Rumble. Master Meatball, that's just what I call blue team. Democrats, blue team, blue news. I don't know. Back when we started, we were censor free. Then YouTube started cracking down on us. Then I couldn't say Joe Biden's name, so we called him Old Man Walter. I couldn't say Democrats, so we called him the blue team, and so on and so forth. And so a lot of words got changed due to self-censorship just to survive on YouTube, when ultimately I got demonetized anyways. Now we just kind of say that stuff out of fun and habit, but we don't really need to censor ourselves anymore. Janet, I got my egg fresh from the chicken's butt. That's right, it's fresher than AA. What's up, Elder Zoomer? Happy freedom. Elder Zoomer, once I get above 8,000 feet, I don't bother filtering my water. Yeah, here in Michigan, I just dig a hole a foot in the ground, is bam, there's water. And so I got to worry about filtering water. I don't have to worry about accessing it. I just got to filter it. Russell Calera will kill you with the Hershey squirts. Yeah, I don't want those problems. I don't want to shit to death. That's not an honorable death, you know, I'm just saying. You get to heaven, God's just laughing at you. You're like, I don't think it's funny. My ass is raw. Come on, man. God's like, I try to tell you not to drink the damn water. Meta in my emergency food supply, 15 plus cans of chicken breast, 24 cans of tuna for protein. Heck yeah, it's pretty good. All right, hooligans. Like I said, this next one is Americans are being targeted by cartel kidnappings. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you guys really quick, if you would like to join the membership program over on Rumble, all you have to do is click that big red subscribe button right below where you type in the chat. Now, if you're on Android and using the Rumble app, you're unable to see that big red subscribe button. So you got to go to rumble.com, come to the live, hop in the chat, and like I said, right below where you type in the chat, you will see that big red subscribe button. Click that button and jump through the hoops, and your name will be highlighted as an official Rumble hooligan. You'll have access to our custom emojis. We got chapstick emojis, scream and goat emojis, Klaus Daniels emojis, President Trump emojis, and more. It's a lot of fun during the live, especially during a Trump live, so definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. Let's get into this. Cartel's now targeting us because they're not making the doll here as they were under the Biden administration. Hit that like button if you got one, and let's get into this.
Authorities on both sides of the border are ramping up security after a troubling change in cartel tactics. With fewer migrants crossing into the U.S., Mexican cartels are now targeting everyday civilians, and that includes Americans, for kidnapping and ransom. In one high-profile incident, cartel members kidnapped 4 Americans in northern Mexico, killing 2 before releasing the others. News Nation's Jorge Ventura joining us with the latest on this. Wow, what a disturbing shift. What more do you know about why the cartels are now going after everyday people, and how frequently is it happening?
Yeah, that's right, Marnie. This is really a chilling shift in tactics. Now we are seeing in real time cartels adapting to the recent crackdown on illegal immigration on the southern border. Now with this shift focusing on kidnapping. Now it's not just Mexican civilians who are at risk, but also everyday Americans visiting Mexico. So now with fewer migrants reaching the southern border, meaning that now fewer migrants are being able to be charged by cartels, what it's called as piso. These are floor fees. This is a cartel slang for migrants having to pay cartels to travel through cartel areas going through the U.S. So instead, now cartels are targeting civilians for kidnapping, random people who they think have something to lose, whether it's a business, a job, or even just having family members willing to pay for their release. In a recent case, Mexican authorities did confirm that 2 Americans were kidnapped right outside a sports bar in Juarez, Mexico, the Mexican border town. The victims were taken to a stash house where they were found alongside migrants from Central America and China. Now, authorities say that the group had been severely beaten, showing signs of torture like cuts to their ears and marks from attempted strangling, all meant to terrify their families into paying the ransom. Now, Mexican state police were able to rescue the victims, and the FBI did provide tactical support in tracking them down. 4 suspects, all men, were arrested. But what's really alarming here is that it's not just about migrant and drug smuggling anymore. There's a huge focus on extortion, putting everyday Americans at risk who visit their families in Mexico, Marnie.
So Juarez is a border town, but it also sits right across from El Paso, so close in proximity to the states. What are you hearing from the State Department, and have the warnings changed for Americans considering traveling to different parts of Mexico?
So the U.S. State Department has had several warnings across several Mexican states for years, but these recent kidnapping cases in Mexico do once again underscore those warnings, just how important they are. So right now, currently, the U.S. State Department does have a do not travel advisory for at least 6 Mexican states. That includes Michoacan, Tamaulipas, and Sinaloa due to those high levels of violence and kidnapping. Now, Chihuahua, where those Americans were recently kidnapping, is now under a reconsider travel advisory, meaning that even U.S. government employees face restrictions here. They can't travel between cities after dark and must take approved transportation like an Uber or registered taxi. And if something goes wrong, emergency services are limited in these areas. And this case is a real reminder that the cartel focus isn't just about drug and migrant smuggling. It's a huge focus on extortion now, Marnie.
Right. Well, and if you're traveling to Mexico, make sure you check that website regularly for updates. Jorge, thank you. Thank you for watching.
Well, it's almost no point in going to Mexico at this point. We got half of all those people over here still. Anyways, a reconsider travel area. That's, I don't know. Haven't really heard of that. It's usually a travel warning, kind of like Minnesota and California. For a while, they haven't talked about this in a while, but for a long time, they were saying Minnesota and California had a travel warning on it, because if you go over there and your kids decide to become shapeshifters and you try to stop them, they will take away your parental rights, even if you're just visiting. And so for a long time, and it may still be that way, like I said, they don't talk about it a lot in the news right now. But that was the last time we covered anything was related to a travel warning. Now they're saying if you go to Mexico, you might just get kidnapped. Well, that's nice. I'm sure that's what you're going there for. Last time we covered this story, there was a group of individuals from America going down there to get cheap surgery. I don't know if it was plastic surgery or dental work or what it was, but they were trying to get some sort of cheap medical something or other, and ended up getting kidnapped by the cartel. Now, I think one of them had died, but the other three were fine. They ended up getting turned over. But I think it's weird because we just declared these people terrorists. And instead of doing something about it, we just put a travel warning up. Just careful if you go to Mexico. The terrorist cartel might just kidnap you, and, well, nobody's going to do anything about it. It's no good. It is no good. Next up, drug bust reveals possible ties to communist China. Last time we covered CCP, they were building their own CDC in California. They were in a abandoned building. CCP was sending pallets of random lab equipment and stuff like that. And they were building something weird there, almost like a bio lab. And they just happened to discover it. It was an accident. There was something like out of code or something like that. And they were trying to contact the owner of the building and ended up finding out it was occupied by communist China, and they were trying to build some bio lab or whatever. And then, of course, that story just disappeared because they didn't want to talk about that, because we're in the middle of an open border, and I highly doubt that was the only place that the CCP had built up. I bet there's other places like that here in America right now that are undiscovered. But like I'm saying, drug bust reveals possible ties to communist China. Now, I think this is a marijuana grow. I don't think it's fentanyl or anything like that, but still, China trying to do stuff over here on our land. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the cartel kidnapping Americans. Here, Juicer, my buddy's brother's father-in-law was held hostage in a cartel-run hospital. They had to pay $100,000 for the hospital to release him for a life flight to Texas. Whole family's is deep in debt now. That's crazy here, Juicer. I couldn't get my hands on $100,000 if I had to. That is wild. Janet going to Mexico in late August. Be safe. Be safe out there. What's up, Bill Clay? Happy freedom to you. You're over by the Gulf of America still? Waves are strong today? That's awesome. Screaming Eagle, carrot cake is the best. Kind of a fan of carrot cake. I don't really be eating sweets a whole lot, but I do like carrot cake. Master Meatball, cholera? Is that what it is? Cholera? Oh, cholera. That sounds about right. Thank you for getting me up to speed here, Master Meatball. Janet, we go to the pharmacy in Mexico and get super cheap amoxicillin. Can get other meds super cheap too. Yeah, there was people I worked with at the factory that used to go down there and get dental work. Super cheap. She had like gold teeth and all kinds of stuff, and I was asking her about it because I got a couple teeth that need to be crowned, and to get porcelain is like $2,600 a tooth, and I can't afford that crap. They were getting their teeth done for $50 a tooth, but I'm just not brave enough to go to Mexico. Like, nah. Master Meatball, yeah, once pot is totally legal, the CCP can taint it with fentanyl. Yeah. Janet, just going to, I don't know where that is, Cozumel? I'm probably not saying that right. It's pretty safe, though. Yeah, just stay safe when you go down there. You'll be all right. I think it's the people that get like drunk. They go to these resorts and they get drunk and then they're like, let's go and wander around, and then they get kidnapped. I mean, that's just what I picture in my head. I could be totally wrong, but that's what I always picture. I just know how we are as Americans. We get a little bit of fun, and we like to take things too far, and you end up in Mexico, and you're at a resort, and right across the street is the cartel, and it's like, well, what's up, Lisa? Happy freedom. Dropping the booty hole in the chat. Very, very nice. Very nice. Jim, my wife just made carrot cupcakes. That sounds fantastic. Lone Wolf, China's in Northern Cali growing weed. I heard they're in Colorado growing weed too. Hooligans Island, definitely not an honorable death to be found lifeless, sitting hunched over on a toilet. I don't know if that's an Elvis joke or not, but yeah, I agree. And then you wake up with your organs being removed. Yeah, Hooligans Island. Got to be careful going to Mexico. Happy freedom to you, Lone Wolf. Elder Zoomer, don't smoke the commie weed. That's right. That's right. Don't smoke any of that CCP crap. We got our own. Master Meatball, my last crown was $800. Was it porcelain or was it like gold or white gold? Because here they're charging, it's $850 for yellow gold, $950 for white gold, which is palladium. It's like platinum, but it's not platinum. It's in the platinum family. And then, like I said, it's like $2,500 for porcelain. I was thinking about going down south. I can go to Texas or Louisiana or Florida and get crowns for a couple $100. I could get all the crowns that I need for like $1,500 instead of paying $800, $900, $1,000 a tooth. Master Meatball, I wonder if Puerto Rico is good for dental work. I haven't heard. Master Meatball, in Puerto Rico, snap-on dentures supported by 4 implants cost approximately $2,800 per arch, a significant saving compared to the U.S., where similar dentures can range from $10,000 to $24,000. Yeah, I don't know why our dental work is so much. It's unreasonable. Jay Spray, damn, it's cheaper to fly down to Mexico and get a whole gold grill than to get a tooth replaced here. What the fuck? I'll go with you. Yeah, Jay Spray, and I'm really thinking about it. I've planned the trip. I've talked to Johnny Dang. I've already got it all planned out. I can get all 8 teeth up front replaced for like $4K. And up here, just to get 4 teeth done is more than $4K. Michigan's got dumb dental prices. I don't know why it's like that, but I'll definitely let you know, Jay Spray, because that we got to boycott the dentists around here. Josh 1776, the dentist I went to wanted $1,800 to drill the hole, then $2,600 to crown it. Dentists in Michigan are scams. That's what I'm saying. We need to out them. We need the world to know they are ripping us off here in Michigan. Master Meatball, as far as I know, was porcelain or enameled steel. Yeah, and that's the new crowns, I think, are the enameled steel. But either way, porcelain or the other is both good. Tube Steak, happy freedom to you. I'm moving to England just for their dental plan. I'm not even allowed to go to England. I'm considered a violent offender, and I'm too scary to go there. I don't understand. They let randos come into the country and start stabbing people and shit, but my goofy ass isn't allowed to go there. They're just racist against hooligans. What's up, Rodney? Happy freedom. Jim, my friend in Kalamazoo, can't go to the dentist until loses weight or quits smoking. Really? Why is that, Jim? I've never even heard that before. I've heard of people not being able to get surgery because of being overweight and stuff, but I've never heard of being restricted from dental work. Oh, I hear you, Tube Steak. Juggalo, hopefully they can regrow teeth soon. Yeah, out of all the things that God's done for us, why did he only give us 2 sets of teeth? I don't understand that. Everything else on the planet grows teeth as it needs them. Not us. Not us. Some of us aren't even born with adult teeth. Hair juicer, zircon crowns are superior. The only teeth strong enough to eat other teeth. That's scary. Hair juicer. I wonder how much those cost. Josh 1576. Shit, go to Canada or England as a migrant. I'm used to seeing migrant and saying border crosser. As a migrant and getting free dental work and money. I can't go to either of those places. I'm considered naughty. Tori Wayne, I paid $10K for 6 fake teeth. My front top 6, that was in 2020. Now it's $17,000 for the same thing to be done. Yeah, see, that's crazy, Tori Wayne. It's because they know we need our teeth. So they're like, what's your soul worth? And it's like, oh, okay. They just do that to us. It's not good. We're all going to have to go down south to get our teeth worked on. That's just all there is to it. We're going to have to do a hooligan road trip going down south. We're all going to take turns getting our teeth done, and we'll drink margaritas and stuff. It'll be a good time. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this next one. Like I said, drug bust reveals possible ties to communist China. Yes, I don't know if Joe Biden was there or not, but either way, let's go ahead and get into this. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the Commie Tube because it helps the live. And let's get into this.
Well, it's now time for your Newsmax morning crime report. So it's probably something we've all done at one point in time. You drive past an abandoned building and wondered what might be happening inside.
Yeah, so in Oklahoma City, police found a major drug operation that they believe could be linked to communist China in one abandoned building. Jason Matera has all the details for us this morning. What can you tell us, Jason?
Hey, good morning, Mark and Charla. Yeah, so this story hasn't garnered much national attention, but it really should, and that's why we're covering it. So federal and state authorities recently raided a marijuana grow facility in Ponca City, Oklahoma. They got nearly 11,000 illegal plants and nearly 500 pounds of product. That's a lot of weed. 5 individuals were arrested, all charged with aggravated manufacturing of marijuana as well as drug trafficking. Officials say there was no license, no registration, and no tagged marijuana plants. In fact, according to the Oklahoma Attorney General, there was zero evidence that the facility made even a token effort, his words, to appear legitimate, indicating it was a rogue operation from start to finish. And that's when red flags turned into sirens. One of the suspects was allegedly found with clothing that resembled a People's Liberation Army uniform, which, as the local sheriff pointed out, is the primary military branch of the Communist Party in China. Law enforcement isn't commenting further on that detail just yet, but with the FBI and ICE involved, the case has moved beyond just a local drug bust. So now, Margaret Charla, investigators want to know whether this drug facility was part of a larger, broader foreign network that was targeting or planning on targeting American communities with these black market drugs. And we'll keep you updated with more details as they come in.
Yeah, finding that communist Chinese military uniform in the middle of Oklahoma. Yeah, a lot of questions of how it got there.
Might be a telltale sign.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
All right. Communist China just doing their thing. What I don't understand is if China owns like 500,000 acres of property here, why are they using abandoned buildings and stuff like that? Like, you know, abandoned areas to try and grow weed. Why not do it on land that they already own? It sucks that they even own land here. Like, pretty sure you can't just go buy property in China without being a citizen of China one way or another, whether you migrate there or otherwise. They own so much property here. Why use abandoned property and all of that? That just doesn't make sense. Does Oklahoma have legal weed? I'm going to look it up really quick. Medical marijuana, but not recreational. Interesting. Are they not making enough money off fentanyl? Or did they? Maybe they thought they would get away with it because it's medical over there. So if you smell weed, it ain't no big deal. That's how it is here. Weed is so common that people hardly do anything. You'll have cars drive by and smell like weed. Nobody does anything. You'll see people walking down the sidewalk smoking weed. It's illegal. But it's such a pain in the ass to bust these people that a lot of cops don't even do it. They'll go harass children over tobacco, but somebody walking down the street smoking weed, they don't do anything about it. It's weird that China's deciding to do it this way. I wonder what they're going to actually do with these people, especially if they think it's Chinese military. And we talked about that a lot during the open border. You can't just leave China. You have to have permission from the government. And they said for a while near the end of the open border there, the last couple months that was happening, they were saying like 60% of the border crossers were CCP. And again, you can't just leave China. You got to have permission. And we were all acknowledging that there were fighting age men. They were all like 20-year-old men and stuff like that. And I was kind of speculating it could be military. Could be CCP military. Now they're finding military uniforms on these assholes that are putting up these bogus, these drug areas, right, where they're trying to grow weed and whatever else they're doing. So I wonder, is this part of the overall plan? They trying to make some more money? They trying to establish a spot? What exactly are they doing? And I wonder, will we hear any more about this story, or are they going to bury it? They're going to make it so we can't find it, because the news only cares about talking bad about Trump. They don't want to tell us about criminal activity. They don't want to tell us about border crossers committing crime. You know, they damn tariffs and the mean orange man. That's all they want to talk about. Poor Garcia, the father from Maryland. You know, that's about it. So I don't know. We'll see if we can get a follow-up on this, because I got questions. Next up, Trump slams courts for taking away the ability to deport criminal illegal migrants. Supreme Court just flip-flopped, said, no, we have to halt the mass deportation just cause they're all worried about due process and whatever. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the CCP drug bust. Russell, I got pulled over in an area of Dallas, driving down the road, smoking a cigarette. I was in a non-smoking zone. Really? There's places where you can't smoke and drive? I've never heard of that. What a pain in the ass. That is crazy. Josh 1776. They just do everything they can to take American jobs, even drug dealing jobs. Sad. Yeah, Josh 1776. They took our jobs. Josh 1776, did his luggage not get checked? It's hard to say. Russell, Oklahoma's had a problem with CCP grow farms. I wonder how many illegals they have there in Oklahoma for it to be a consistent problem like that. Because you would think that these people would be getting arrested and then deported if they're not here. Well, I guess either way. Unless they migrate here, they would have temporary status. So it would probably revoke their status because they're here committing crimes, being involved in drug manufacturing or drug dealing. So you would think that would get them deported. Or if they're here illegally, then it's just one step closer to getting deported because they don't have to revoke their status. So you would think that this problem would solve itself as long as the police are doing their job and actually arresting these guys and, you know, kicking them out of the country like they should. Astro Hammer, I like how the cheaper dental option is to just pull out your teeth, and it's not so cheap either. Yeah, last time I had a tooth pulled, it was $350. It was not fun. Done. I see a no tobacco use sign on a property. I just sit in my car. That's my property. Yeah, Dutton. That's what we used to do at the factory. At the factory, you couldn't smoke on the grounds, but everybody smoked in their car. People were like, I'm not walking 2 blocks that way. Smoke a cigarette on my 10-minute break. Sage Pup, here you can get a ticket for smoking tobacco downtown, but you can smoke a joint and nobody cares. In Santa Barbara, that's crazy. I've never seen that stuff. I think here in Michigan you can't smoke within like 15 feet of a commercial building or something like that. So if you work at a business, you need to walk out to the road, or if you live at like an apartment complex, or if you're at work, right, at pretty much anywhere, you got to walk out to the road. You got to stand on the sidewalk or stand near the sidewalk if you're going to smoke a cigarette. But I've never seen like restricted areas like that. AR-16 just paid $450 to have a tooth pulled, not counting having to go to my doctor for antibiotics. Holy AR-16, that is expensive. These dentists, they are ripping us off. We need hooligan dentists, and we need it now. My feed, happy freedom to you. Illegals have no rights. Unfortunately, they do. Our Constitution is not wrote to exclude our constitutional rights from illegals. I thought for sure that you had to be an American citizen in order to have constitutional rights, but the way that the Constitution is wrote, there is certain rights that are given to everybody on the land. If you come here, you have those rights, even if you're not here legally, and that is bullshit. It is bullshit. And I never think about changing the Constitution. We should leave it as it is, but that pisses me off. It just doesn't make sense that we give constitutional rights to anybody standing on our ground, even if they're here illegally. That doesn't make sense. Now, it's not the whole Constitution. It's just specific rights are given to all men in America. And that means even if you're here illegally. And that's bullshit. It shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately it is. What's up, Trapper? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Brujo? Happy freedom to you. Trapper, after 5 years, most jobs don't care. Funny that stolen gun records get thrown out by KSP, but computer records for convictions hang on. Yeah, my record's so old that it doesn't pop up with anything. Like if I apply for a job, they're like, have you ever been arrested? I'm like, no, I've never been challenged. And I mean, it's so lenient around here. They could be like, do you got a college degree in anything? Rocket science? Yep, got it at Harvard. They'd be like, great. They don't check. There's no way to check. There's no way to validate if you have a diploma or a degree. You can't just call a school and go, hey, I need to know if you had this student. The school's not going to give up that information. It's all bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors. Now, you don't want to lie because lying is wrong. But if you lie on an application, most of the time they don't find out. My problem is I can't go to other countries. And it's not because I did anything terrible and I don't have felonies, but apparently if you have too many misdemeanors, you can't go to other countries. Sucks. What's up, Fitzy? Happy freedom to you. Sage Pub, look up We Jesus on YouTube. Let's see. He was a very close friend of mine. Brother Blessed passed away this past year. I'm sorry to hear that, Sage Pup. I will definitely go check out his channel. Put a little reminder up here. Trapper, it's BS. Judge's interpretation. Notice it says all men. Yeah, Trapper. And that's the thing, it's semantics. Obviously, our Constitution should be reserved for Americans, right? It's our Constitution. But because of Democrats and their love for semantics, they're giving everyone our constitutional rights. AR-16, don't smoke me, bro. Mm-hmm. What's up, Pickle Rick? Happy freedom to you. Jay Spray, 1 DUI and you can't go to Canada, but yet they'll serve you drinks on the plane while going to Canada. Yeah, Jay Spray, that's my problem. I have a disorderly conduct, and the reason I can't go to Canada is because they say that they take first-time DUI, I don't know what you call them, criminals, I guess, and they lower their DUI sentence to disorderly. So because I have a disorderly, they assume that it's a DUI that's been knocked down, even though it's not. I was arrested for yelling for help because I needed help. And instead of getting help, I went to jail. I've told you guys this story a million times. Master Meatball, I would be glad to help you expunge your record if it's possible. I'm in Ohio, and I know you're in Michigan. We could talk about it, and I can try making some phone calls for you. Master Meatball, I can't have my record expunged because in Michigan, you have to... It's either 1 felony, 1 misdemeanor, or 2 misdemeanors is all expungible. I have 3 misdemeanors, so I cannot have my record expunged. I can, however, get a pardon from the governor. I have to give her $1,000 and file an application, and if she grants me a pardon, my crimes will be pardoned, and I will no longer be held to the standard of those crimes that I committed 20 years ago. But I think that's the only way that I can get away from it. Canada said I had to do that or go to New York and stay in a facility for 2 weeks to prove that I am reformed from criminal activity. I'm not going to New York. I'm not going to do that. So I have to basically get a pardon from the governor, and that's all I got. Trapper, 3 strikes in Michigan. Well, I only have 2 that are the same, but it's enough for me to be considered a violent offender. Unfortunately. And that's what pisses me off about the track stabbing dude, right? He's 17. He stabbed that other kid in the heart and killed him. And they're like, well, we don't know if we're going to charge him as an adult. My whole life is fucked up because of the choices I made when I was 17. I haven't been in any trouble really since I was 17. And having to live through, I'm 36 and I got to live through the choices I made when I was 17. It sucks. That's why I'm always telling you guys, make good choices. Make good choices even if nobody's watching. What's up, Jay Blazer? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Kirk Allen? Happy freedom to you. 3 chickens, 3 eggs a day. There you go. That's all you need. Rich, you got duck eggs? We were talking about eating duck the other day. It's kind of mixed results. What about duck eggs? Have you guys ever ate duck eggs? Are they okay? Turbo, happy freedom to you. I'll go to New York and say I'm you. I'll wear a wig. You ain't gonna have much of a wig to wear. I don't know. I don't want to stay in a facility in New York for them to prove that I'm criminally rehabilitated. What does that mean? They check if your butthole's loose? Like, I don't know what they want. Lone Wolf, no smoking in government-assisted apartments? Yep. That's right. What's up, Dean? Happy freedom? Dean, and you're from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Some bars have 420 friendly outside smoking areas. That's badass. We don't have anything like that near where I am, maybe in other parts of Michigan, but where I'm at, people are kind of prudes. They don't really like weed around here. They can't do a whole lot about it, but we don't have fun stuff like that. What's up, Shenanigans? Happy freedom. What's up, Jeff Reynolds? Jeff Reynolds, I'd say government can take the land. I think so too. I think the government should just take that CCP land that they've purchased here and tell them no. Tell them they can't buy our property anymore. I don't know why they're letting it happen in the first place. Jay Spray, you're cracking me up. Snooks, tell your governor that Snooks said you're a good man. She'll believe you. I don't know. I don't think Governor Whitmer would believe anything I have to say. Jay Spray, he was suspended from his school for bringing a knife to school and then was at another school when that incident happened. Wasn't even supposed to be at the track meet. Yeah, and they're saying that he's expelled because he's being accused of murder or something like that. And any student that's accused of murder automatically gets expelled. I'm like, how often does that happen to where you have that in your policy? Josh 1776, they own a lot of New York City too. It's how the rich over there launder money. Yeah, I totally believe that. Cody, thank you so much for joining the membership program over on Rumble, and welcome to the family. You're officially a hooligan. Now I appreciate you, Cody. Thank you. Ghostly, I got lucky and got youthful offenders. Scared straight when I was 17. Only reason I'm not a felon. Yeah, Ghostly. When I first got picked up, I was being charged with 3 counts of assault right then. I was already facing 3 counts. That's why they didn't give me a break. They dropped 1 and charged me with the 2. And the 1 was against the prosecutor's son, but I didn't know that. And I whooped his ass on camera, so I couldn't even deny it. It was in front of everybody. He deserved it, though, but they don't care. There's no self-defense in Michigan. Pickle Rick, Cody actually has scissors for hands. I knew it. I knew it. Cody's from Forged in Fire. I can't tell you how many people I've actually told that to. You should go on Forged in Fire, Cody, if you haven't. I tell people that all the time. They don't know. It's all good. Building you a reputation, Cody. Pickle Rick Ghostly has scissors for toes. You looking at Cody's toes? Come on, man. Meta, we could donate to a pardon fund for Jeff. That's an idea. I need to put an attorney on retainer and talk to him and see what it would really take to get my crimes pardoned. I would like to have that done. I just don't have the money to do it right now. I need $3,500 to put this attorney on retainer. I've already had him before. He's a good attorney. I just don't have the funds to deal with it right now. Meta, we could all write character letters for the governor. That would be so badass. That would be so badass. The chaplaincy wants to do that too. They want to write like a character reference for me because I was a chaplain for 2 years and stuff to help with the pardon. Lone Wolf, bad boy Jeff. I know. The thing is I wasn't out there just fighting people being a dumbass. I was sticking up for my friends that were getting tattled on for smoking cigarettes. And this kid wanted to start stuff with me. And, well, when you're named Jeff, everybody thinks you're a fucking sissy. and that's the problem. And so this kid went to try and bump chest with me. And I let him have it. And all of my assault charges are all like that, where I was either defending myself or defending my friend. I don't walk around looking for trouble, but I'm not scared of trouble if I find it. I grew up in a shithole, so like seeing bad things is normal to me. I just don't want bad things to happen to people, and when I see people going out there and hurting other people, I want to go do something about it. I got like a hero complex, I guess. I don't know. I run into burning buildings. I run towards the sirens. It's just the way I am. I want to save people. I'm not a bad person. I don't want to be a bad person. I'm not tough. I'm not tough. I just don't want people to experience trauma and stuff, and so I want to save them from it. And I'm not bulletproof, but when those things happen, I behave like I am. And, well, I got some assault charges because of it. But anyways, let's go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, Trump slams courts for taking away ability to deport illegal border crossers. Now, we covered this yesterday, that the Supreme Court flip-flopped on us. This is Trump's response. And we got pretty much from here on out, we're going to be talking about illegals and stuff like that until we get near the end where we got lefties losing it. So we got that to look forward to. But either way, once again, this is Trump slams courts for taking away ability to deport criminal illegal border crossers. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the Commie Tube, and let's get into this.
The Trump administration is slamming court decisions that not only slow down but nearly erase the president's authority to deport illegal aliens. That includes some courts suggesting a hearing must be held for millions of illegal aliens. President Trump wrote, "I'm doing what I was elected to do, remove criminals from our country, but the courts don't seem to want me to do that. My team is fantastic, doing an incredible job. However, they are being stymied at every turn by even the U.S. Supreme Court, which seemingly doesn't want me to send violent criminals and terrorists back to Venezuela. We cannot give everyone a trial because to do so would take, without exaggeration, 200 years. We would need hundreds of thousands of trials for the hundreds of thousands of illegals we are sending out of the country. Such a thing is not possible to do."
Illegal aliens from Venezuela sent here by Maduro, who are members of a foreign terrorist organization, Tren de Aragua. They cannot be expelled from our country without an extraordinary amount of individualized adjudication at the district court, circuit court, Supreme Court. No American citizen receives this level of so-called due process. This isn't due process. This is called infinity process to keep you here forever.
Yep. So, like they said, erase the president's ability to deport illegals. How does that make sense? What's the point of being president? Like, what is the point? Like, it just seems pointless at this point. You know, we had Speaker Johnson saying all that crap, acting like he was going to save the day. Oh, we got these district judges constantly standing in the way of the Trump agenda, and we have the power to remove those judges from their duty. And then turn around and did nothing. Did a whole bunch of nothing. The Supreme Court was like, you know what, we're going to let them do the Illegal Aliens Act, blah, 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 blah. And then a week later, they were like, you know what, we're not going to let them do it anymore. Who's putting money in their pocket? Because they're literally flip-flopping. They said he could. And 7 days later, now he can't. Nothing's changed except for their opinion. So someone must have influenced them to make these changes. And then look at how they describe it. They removed his ability to deport illegal border crossers. It's the law. It's the law. I don't understand how they can even say this. Congress has to change the law if they're going to try and keep these illegals here, because it's going in accordance with the law to kick these assholes out. They're here illegally. I don't understand what the confusion is. Old man Walter really knew what he was doing when he brought those 25 million illegals in here. They knew that it was going to be a nightmare to kick them out. We're handing them iPhones and Red Cross blankets, shaking their hand as we let them in. We got to go to court and months worth of process in order to kick them out. Why? Why would it even be like that? Who would want it to be like that? People who want bad things for our country. That's who. Otherwise, it just literally doesn't make sense. So it kind of sounds like we're going to be stuck with these 25 million illegals. And it also sounds like the Supreme Court doesn't agree with what America voted for, which is wrong. And every time this happens, it brings me right back to where we started. I'm surprised we don't have more vigilante justice going on. I don't want it to happen, but if the police don't do anything, Border Patrol don't do anything, and the government doesn't do anything, and then 25 million illegals are raping, killing, kidnapping, and doing everything else to us, eventually someone's going to fight back. We're Americans. It's what's going to happen. It's inevitable, and they want it to happen. They want it to be that way, because if they didn't, they would just let them go. They would just kick them out. They don't belong here. I mean, it's very simple. You would not allow strangers to just walk through the front door of your house, hand them a blanket, and ask them if they want a sandwich. You wouldn't do that. You'd be pissed. You'd be throwing them out. They'd be lucky to be alive by the end of the engagement. But for some reason, people have a hard time understanding strangers coming into the country and refusing to leave. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It seems like a very simple situation. The only people that want them here are the blue team. The damn Democrats. They want their votes. They want their crime. They want their bullshit. They like it that way. They love for everything to be like a ghetto, and they're trying to make America a giant ghetto with these foreign monsters that are in the country. Next up, Illegal Enemies Act case ruling is expected Tuesday, which is today. They got 2 illegals that are claiming that they're not gang members, but they're being deported as if they are gang members. This is the new controversial story that's being started by the news. It's not just about the mass deportation anymore. Garcia, which is the poor father from Maryland that we sent to Supermax, well, they started a new subgenre of being against the mass deportation. Now Democrats are claiming that the people that we're deporting and sending to Supermax are not gang members. So the reason these people are going to Supermax, some of them is because they've committed heinous crimes. Other ones are because they're part of either Tren de Aragua or MS13. Now here in America, if you're a Crip or a Blood or a Dog Life or whatever gang you're from, you have the right to be in that gang. We have the right to organize. That's why gangs have existed here. That's why the Klan existed, is because Americans have the right to organize. Now illegals don't. So these foreign gangs like Tren de Aragua or MS13, they are considered terrorist organizations. If there were homegrown gangs here in America, they wouldn't be. But because they're foreign gangs, they are considered terrorist organizations. So these illegals who are a part of these foreign gangs, they're considered terrorists. And that's why when they get deported, they go to Supermax instead of just going home wherever the hell they're from. Now, that's what created this subgenre of controversy that's happening in the news now. So once again, we're not just worrying about the mass deportation itself, but if they are related to these foreign gangs, they are entitled to going to Supermax in El Salvador. The problem is that they're making claims that our government is labeling everyone gang members. That if you're here illegally, we're just going to say you're a gang member, you're going to El Salvador, you're going to Supermax, and it's unjust. So that's what we're seeing happening here. Now, we don't know if this is real. We don't know if there's mislabeling going on and that these illegals are being misrepresented as gang members when they're really not. We don't know. But that's kind of the problem that you sign up for when you come here illegally. You would not have these problems if you'd have stayed home instead of breaking into our country. Now, I think what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I think that if illegals are here and they're not gang members, they should be kicked out and they shouldn't be sent to El Salvador. If they are terrorist gangs, send them to Supermax. But the problem is we don't know who anybody is. And that's the difficulty with being undocumented. We can only go off your hand tattoos or, whatever. But like I said in the beginning of the live, there's no documentation on gangs. You can't just go check the database and see if this guy's MS13 or not. They have to be arrested for crime and have to have admitted to it. So somebody gets busted, I don't know, stealing, right? And they pick them up. Who are you? Oh, my name's so-and-so. I'm illegal and I'm part of this gang. Now, like we said at the beginning of the live, they have to admit to it according to their gang code. You have to admit that you're a gang member even when talking to cops. If you don't, you are denouncing your gang. So if you're a Crip, you get arrested. Cops are like, are you a gang member? You say no. Okay, well, when the Crips find out that you did that, they're going to smoke you because it's a part of their code. You have to admit to it or you are denouncing your colors. That's how it works with these foreign gangs too, as far as I know. So when these assholes are arrested, they should be admitting, yes, we're MS13 or yes, we're Tren de Aragua or whatever. Right now, this next video we're going to show is two people claiming that they are not a part of these terrorist gangs and that they don't deserve to go to Supermax. Now, the Democrats love hearing that because that's what they think is going on with Garcia. They think Garcia is not a terrorist gang representative or affiliate, and that he is incorrectly been placed in Supermax. So we're going to hear more about this today. We got a news story. It's not related to Garcia. But it's continuing on this subgenre. Now that I've just talked about all that, we're just going to go ahead and get right in the video, and we'll hop in the chat afterwards. So let me get this pulled up really quick. We'll just get right into this while we're hot and ready. Once again, this is titled Alien Enemies Act Case Ruling is expected Tuesday. And like I said, this is two illegals that are already detained that are claiming that they are not terrorist gang affiliated and that they don't deserve to go to Supermax. Hit that like button if you got one, and let's get into this.
New information this morning is nearly a dozen undocumented immigrants from Colorado have been sent to a notorious prison in El Salvador.
Well, so now a major decision expected this morning regarding two Venezuelan men asking that they not be deported out of Colorado under the Alien Enemies Act. Fox 31's Kasha Carriage joins us live from the federal courthouse in downtown Denver with the very latest on what's going on with this situation. Kasha.
Yeah, good morning, guys. The men's names are apparently not being publicly released due to fear of retaliation, but their attorneys claim they have no gang affiliation. Now, the 25 and 32-year-old men are currently being held at the ICE detention facility in Aurora. One of them was arrested at a large raid at an Adams County nightclub that we covered back in January. Federal court papers state the men are wrongly accused of being Tren de Aragua or TDA gang members. The men's attorneys are concerned they will be illegally deported under the Alien Enemies Act, who are now asking for a temporary restraining order to stop them from being deported without due process.
So what we are hearing from lots of people who are detained at the Aurora facility here in Colorado is that ICE is making allegations against them that they are members of gangs when they're people who have no criminal history.
Now, Fox 31 asked ICE Denver if any immigrants detained here have been deported under the Alien Enemies Act. The Rocky Mountain Immigration Action Network says it believes 11 undocumented immigrants have been wrongfully deported under this act. The ACLU also told us this decision could come down sometime this morning, possibly around 10 or 11. Of course, we'll keep you updated as we learn more this morning. For now, reporting live in downtown Denver, Kasha Carriage, Fox 31.
Yep, we know you'll be watching it for us, Kasha, and we'll check back in throughout the morning. Appreciate it.
Okay, so like I said, these illegals claim, yeah, we're illegal, but we're not gang members, so don't send us to Supermax, send us back where we're from. I don't know. I believe that in certain instances this is true, but in other cases, I think people are just trying to avoid accountability. They don't want to be held accountable for being terrorist-related gangs, affiliates, and they were doing crime when they're here. Most of them were, not everybody. Some people were just here illegally, but a lot of people were here committing crime while being here illegally. Now, even those people may not all be gang members, but I don't think that they're just labeling people left and right. Oh, you're a gang member, you're not, but you are. I don't think they're just doing that. They got to have reasons to put people in these little categories here. However, you wouldn't have these problems if you never would have came here illegally. You signed up for these kind of problems, right? Like, you don't want to go to Supermax, don't do criminal activity. You came here illegally, there's your criminal activity. Shouldn't have signed up for it. People make mistakes, even DHS, and you might accidentally end up in Supermax. So, this is really more reason for illegals to self-deport. You don't want to get mistaken for Tren de Aragua. You don't want to be mistaken for MS13. You should be getting your ass out of the country right now before ICE picks you up, because they might just hand you a ticket to El Salvador. You never know. But the Dems, they love this, right? They love this because, again, they claim that this is Garcia, who Senator Dumbass, Van Holly or whatever, Van Hollen, whatever his name is, he went to go visit Garcia in the Supermax, right? They were sitting there at a nice table with a tablecloth drinking water and having a good time while President Boo Boo Kelly was making fun of them on X, trolling them and stuff. And even when Boo Kelly was here at the White House hanging out with President Trump, the press asked, what are we going to do about Garcia? The Trump administration took turns answering the same question, saying, he's here illegally. He was accused of human trafficking. He beat his wife up. She was put in a personal protection order against him. Even if he's not MS-13, he is never allowed to come back here. He was going to be deported anyways. We found out he's MS-13. They have flimsy reasons. I will admit that. Their reasons for him being MS-13 are kind of flimsy. And maybe he's not MS-13, but no matter what, he ain't coming back here. And so everything that the Democrats are crying about, and we got a video coming up about it, doesn't matter. He's never allowed to come back here regardless of his MS-13 status. The MS-13 status just dictates whether or not he should be in or outside of Supermax. He's from El Salvador. He can't come here anymore. He's already been deported. He is where he's supposed to be. If he's not MS-13, maybe he shouldn't be in the Supermax. If he is, well, then he's right where he belongs. All they have to go off of is he had a Bulls, like Chicago Bulls hat on. Supposedly that goes in line with Trende or MS-13. I think that's kind of flimsy. They have his hand tattoos. The hand tattoos are supposed to represent MS-13, but they don't literally spell out MS-13. When he was stopped for potential human trafficking, he had like 8 other dudes with him in the vehicle. They were leaving south, like from Texas, and they were coming up north. They were all claiming that they lived at his address in Maryland. They suspected that he was doing human trafficking. They've stopped him with people that are affiliated with MS-13. But again, these are kind of flimsy reasons to label him MS-13. He may not be, but he is illegal. He is a woman beater. He is a piece of shit, and he is outside of the country, and he doesn't deserve to come back. He has no right to be here. He is never allowed to come back. So that means that the really only thing up for debate is, should he be in Supermax? Well, let's leave it up to El Salvador. He's already there. He's home. They don't want him to be in Supermax? Good, let him out of the building. But no matter what, he ain't never coming back here. So the Democrats need to let this go. Now they're going to try and hold on to it, but thank God they got 2 new illegals here who claim that they're not gang members either. And this is going to grow. This is going to continue to spread. We're going to see protests over this. We already are. We're going to see more protests over this. And like I said, we got a video coming up where there's even more Democrats that are going to El Salvador, and now they're demanding every day they want proof of life of Garcia. So anyways, that is what's coming up next. Dems demand proof of life for detained MS-13 gang suspect. But first, we're going to hop in the chat, see what you hooligans think about these 2 illegals claiming they're not gang members, as well as what President Trump was talking shit about the Supreme Court for standing in the way of the mass deportation. Russell, deport them all. Absolutely. We got 25 million illegals that we got to deal with, and we're sitting here going, are you a gang member or are you not a gang member? The Democrats want your due process. Like, stupid. Kick them out and worry about it then. Worry about them that we're always treating the damn symptoms and not treating the problem. Kick them out of the country. Like I said before, send them wherever they're going. You want them to do court? Zoom call it. We did that during the lockdowns. Nobody was speaking face to face. Zoom call these assholes. You want them to do court? Do it like that. 5 minutes a person. You're guilty, you're guilty, you're guilty, and you ain't even got to deport them because they're already deported. I'm telling you, we need a hooligan president. That's where we are at this point. Snooks, I want proof of life with Klaus. You guys didn't hear him? He was tattling on a stink bug. There's a stink bug around here. He was telling me. You see him? He was sitting over here for a second. He's a tall Klaus. He can see over the counter at this point. But I'll grab Klaus next time he walks through. Josh 1776. Notice she closed her eyes and looked away when she said no criminal history. Signs of a liar. Yeah. Everybody's saying, what's going on with Klaus? He was informing me there was a communist stink bug here. He's probably kissing him to death right now. Klaus is weird like that. Trapper, 25 million. Kick them out. They're currently criminals. Absolutely. Absolutely. Done. Any congressman or woman who is talking to the president of El Salvador in an attempt to get this piece of shit back is in violation of the Logan Act. Arrest them. Absolutely. We looked it up the other day, the Logan Act. It is true because they're trying to negotiate a deal that disrupts something our government had decided. And yeah, they are violating the Logan Act. Told to care they better not be going on our dime, and they are. They said that was Senator Dumbass. It's Van Hollen or Van Holly. It's one or the other. But they admitted, yeah, he used Maryland tax dollars, I think, to go down there. Air 16, there's no place like home. Yep. Trapper, what made you want tats? I don't know. Words. Words have power. All my tattoos are words. And so I have lots more tattoos that I want. I just can't afford it. I don't have the time to sit there and get tattooed. But everything but my face. I want everything but my face tattooed. And it's all words because words have power. God doesn't want that, but I'm stuck here on Earth. We'll see how it goes. MU, any tats? Yeah, see, they didn't really show those guys. And that's like when they were showing Garcia, they were blurring out his tats. He's got like a lion or something on his arm. And they were blurring it all out while they were like, this poor father from Maryland was accidentally deported by the Trump administration. And they're talking all this crap. He's got his gang tats all blurred out. They're so desperate. The Democrats are so desperate. Ghostly 5th Street chip clips. Spicy. It's extra spicy. Snows, do you have private tats? No. I'm not tatting my privates. Holy. It says hooligan on it, but you can't tell on cold days. Anyways. Meta, do the thing with the governor. Get a shitload of support for you. Sent the governor's office, assuming she's a Dem. Yes, Gretchen Whitmer is absolutely a Dem. I don't know what I could even offer her. I'll send you a picture of me in a dress if you give me a pardon. She'd be like, I'll think about it. Lone Wolf, Dems are still blackmailing Republicans. That's why nothing is getting done. I 100% believe that. What's up, Cliff? Happy Freedom? Who would have thunk to make the border a military zone? Yeah, and they are. They're building an army base on the border. That way when illegals are trespassing, they're not just crossing the border, but they're trespassing on military property. No Wolf, president has only the power of the pen. No more, no less. Yeah, well, he seems powerless at this point. Dean Seacott prison is set for a disease to spread. I don't know. I haven't heard anything like that. I know the lefties are telling each other that it's a death camp. They're even going on Google Image or Google Earth, and they're trying to see if there's images, and it's all blurry and shit. And they're like, I think that this blurry image is a pile of bodies out back. Like, it's... they got too much time on their hands. I don't know what else to say about it. What's up, Cruz? Happy freedom. Tactical, what gang is PMS? It's probably a lefty gang. Lone Wolf, send her a case of Doritos. She's going to want to feed them to me if I sit on my knees. I don't know. Gretchen Whitmer, she is scary. She is a scary person. Hey, thanks for being here, Screaming Eagle. Enjoy the rest of your day. Joel DeCare. On cold days, it just says ho. Yeah. Turbo, I ain't gonna say nothing. You hooligans crack me up. Pickle Rick, who has 2 thumbs and needs a pardon? This guy. That's right. She's gonna slap me down so fast. I hope she's watching the live. Trapper, it's one of those gray areas of Christianity. No, tattoos are pretty clear. You're not supposed to mark your flesh. You're not supposed to in Christianity. Information Warlord, I had a boss who was very anti-tattoo until I asked him if Jesus would be mad if he got a cross tattooed over his heart. Yeah, you're not supposed to mark your flesh. That's kind of the goofy thing about getting like religious tattoos, is that you're sinning in a religious aspect. It's almost worse, right? Like, because you're acknowledging what the Bible says while sinning. And so it's actually worse. I used to have these, I can't remember what they're called. They're videos to try and wake people up to Christianity and stuff. We used to hand them out when I was a chaplain. I think they're related to Billy Graham. I think that's who produces these videos. I'll have to look. I got a whole stack of my chaplain stuff still. But in one of the videos, they were talking about the members of the band Korn, how 2 of them, it was Head and I think it was David. David and Head both gave their life to Christ. And I think David got a huge cross tattooed right here on his face as a symbol of his faith. And we played this video during a chaplaincy meeting because we had new chaplains with us. And everybody asked about that. And like, yeah, you are not supposed to mark your flesh. And so even though it was a tribute to God, it's still a sin. And so I don't know. I'm not here to tell people what to do or whatever. But yeah, in the Bible, it talks about not marking your flesh. And, you know, it's just an argument that me and God are going to have when I get there. And that's just all there is to it. Hopefully all those jokes I told him over all these years will give me some brownie points. That's what I'm hoping for. Anyways, go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, Dems demand proof of life for detained MS13 gang suspect. Let's go ahead and get into this. So now that Senator Dumbass went to El Salvador, all the Democrats want to go to El Salvador. I don't know if they vacation there or what, but they're going to start. Once again, this is titled Dems Demand Proof of Life for Detained MS13 Gang Suspect.
4 House Democrats visiting El Salvador, I know, as the party ramps up its efforts to return alleged MS13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States.
We're not the first here. We're not going to be the last members of Congress fighting and demanding the return of Abrego Garcia.
We have written a letter just as of 30 minutes ago to Secretary of State Marco Rubio demanding daily proof of life for Mr. Abrego Garcia. He is a father. He is a husband. He's a union member.
I am a mother. The idea that Kilmar was detained from in front of his 5-year-old son is heartbreaking to me.
This is on Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's hard when you're a human trafficker and you beat your wife. Sometimes you might end up with law enforcement as a problem in front of your family. It comes after Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen admitted to using taxpayer funds to visit the suspected gang member last week. Maryland State Delegate Kathy Szeliga joins us now. Congresswoman, thanks so much. Is this where Maryland reps should be? Should be the focus of your state? Are all your other problems solved?
Absolutely not. And look, Brian, I am very concerned that Senator Chris Van Hollen is making Maryland a magnet for criminal illegal immigrants. This man, Mr. Garcia, is not a Marylander, despite the news continually calling him a Marylander. He is a Salvadoran national who was illegally living in Maryland. And I wish Senator Chris Van Hollen had as much concern for the victims of crime as he has for a man that's not an American.
Here's what Congressman Maxwell Frost said yesterday.
I'm not here to litigate even a very specific person. I'm here to talk about the fact that he represents a very big problem with this administration, that they have no problem scooping somebody up based on tattoos and vibes and sending them to a foreign country's prison.
I mean, how could he even say that? Did you look at the police report? He was at a Home Depot with known MS13 operators. He has a rank within that organization. He's got the tattoos, the paraphernalia, and an informant trusted said this guy's MS13, let alone beating his wife, let alone being caught with 7 other people, trafficking them from Texas to Maryland.
As the story unfolds, Brian, it gets worse and worse. But let's start from the very beginning. Mr. Garcia is an illegal immigrant.
Yes.
He came into this country illegally. He did not have permission. He was not vetted. And, let's start there. He isn't afforded the rights of an American citizen because he is not a citizen. And then as the story unfolds, we learn more and more. Maryland has a problem with illegal immigrants that are criminals. Maryland's ICE is amazing. We lead the nation in sex offender apprehensions. The director of Maryland ICE is very focused on the worst go first. And a tiny state like Maryland of 6 million people, we lead the nation in sex offender apprehensions by ICE, and we're second in gang member apprehensions. So, what Chris Van Hollen is doing, making a poster child of an illegal immigrant who has a rap sheet, is not going to be good for the state of Maryland.
Right. And by the way, Senator Van Hollen says he's got a track record of fighting against MS-13. I don't see any proof of that. Do you?
Well, I think in 2006, just a couple of years ago, he might have been on a work group about that. But that actually, Brian, I think makes it worse because he understands how dangerous MS-13 is. And he should be calling on all of the local jails in Maryland and law enforcement to cooperate with ICE, follow the law.
Right.
I don't know what his end game is. Mr. Garcia should not be welcome back to this country. He can be adjudicated from his own country.
Thanks for speaking up, Congresswoman. Appreciate it. People of Maryland need people like you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
Okay. Pretty much just reinforcing what I was saying there. They believe he's MS-13. I've seen his tats and all that stuff. I don't know. It's hard to tell what people are or are not. But he is an illegal and he is a woman beater. So, I ain't feeling bad for him. Not at all. And all those Democrat assholes going down there on tax doll hairs and demanding proof of life every day for Garcia. Like, how many people are in CCOT? Hold on a second. Let's see if we can get some answers here. It says the exact number of inmates in the CCOT, the terrorism confinement center in El Salvador, is not publicly disclosed due to security concerns. However, as of April of 2025, the prison's director stated that the population was closer to its maximum capacity of 40,000 inmates, though an exact figure was not provided. Okay, so out of 40,000 inmates, we demand everyday proof of life of this one guy who's not a good person. Even if we were questioning the MS-13 status, he's still a bad person. even with the gang member affiliation off the table. Now, maybe he doesn't deserve Supermax, but like I said before, he deserves to be in El Salvador because that's where he's from. He's been deported, and he is back home. Now, we'll leave it up to Boo Boo Kelly, the president of El Salvador, to dictate if he wants this guy inside CCOT or outside CCOT, but either way, he ain't coming back here. So the Democrats need to stop wasting those tax dollars. They need to find their new martyr and go worry about Mahmoud Khalil, or, you know, go see how George Floyd's doing. Like, something else. Garcia's not the one. It ain't gonna work. They need to get off of this. Is nonsense. Like, all they can cry about is whether or not he's MS13, because everything else is already done. It is done. Anyways, next up we got the last little bit of the news. It's titled "Lefties Losing It. Trans Activist Melts Down After UK Supreme Court Has Their Definition of What a Woman Is." Then, of course, we're going to be getting into our fun stuff. We will be opening today's door of the Advent Calendar sent to us by Hair Juicer. And then we got our 2 funny videos of the day. It's coming up next after Lefties Losing It. But like I'm saying, first we're going to read through the chat. And we got Lefties Losing It coming up next. Russell, dumb shit. It is. It is so dumb. And it's not just dumb, they're wasting tax dollars. And like, we shut down USAID, that saved some money. We found out millions of people were misusing Social Security numbers all the way up to 350 years old. You know, it would be the person that the Social Security number belongs to. They don't talk about that anymore. The other thing is, and I saw someone bring this up the other day, the Democrats never said that it wasn't true. When they brought up all this fraud and corruption and money laundering and misuse of tax dollars, not one Democrat came out and said that it was not true. They just got mad. They were just like, oh my God, I can't believe you're shutting down the USAID, you know, and all this other stuff. But they never said explicitly that what was being talked about was untrue. That no one did. And now they don't talk about it at all. At all. They're too busy wasting tax dollars to go down to El Salvador and go visit a woman beater. Stupid. You ain't got to travel that far to find one. Like, I don't understand. Such a waste of money. Sort of, Hair Juicer. More or less. Yeah. Yeah, I like it better the way you said it. Did corn give head to God? I mean, you know, you still can't get into heaven. That's all I know. You can't work your way into heaven. Snook, sweetest cat ever. Yeah, Big Klaus Daniels. He's a big baby. His big baby Klaus. Trapper, he said, she said, you said. Yep, USAID. Pickle Rick, I may not be classy, but I look bougie. That's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Cody, so crazy this crap. Yeah. They're trying really hard to make this into something. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. The Democrats are going to eventually have to go back to crying over Mahmoud Khalil. I mean, any day now, he's going to have that trial in New Jersey about lying on his visa application. And when they're done with that, he's getting deported. And so they're going to be crying about that soon. They're only going to be able to keep this Garcia crap alive for so long. Trapper, the TP research programs will suffer. Yep. Seeing how mice react on ecstasy and all of that. Meta distractions. Yeah, absolutely. Meta, how long have we been talking about this Garcia bullshit? Weeks. Every day there's an update, and we've been talking about it for weeks. Because they don't want to talk about anything else. It's either Garcia or Orange Man bad. Meta, offer an interview to the governor. I don't know. I don't really want to interview the governor. Why'd you screw up Michigan so bad? She'd be like, you know what? And have this knock at the door. State police are here. She told Michiganders that if you're caught spreading misinformation, that you'll get a visit from the state police. Now, I haven't heard of anybody actually getting a visit from the state police. And what the hell are they going to do? What are they going to do? It's free speech. You can say whatever the hell you want. You want to say that Klaus Daniels can fly and he's going to grow bat wings tonight. They're going to send the state police to my house and do what? Applaud? Take a seat? Like what? You know? And so, I don't know. I'd rather not talk to Gretchen Whitmer. Chewy, the part of the Bible that was written to a specific group in the Old Testament who used to get tattoos in regard to their dead relatives. It wasn't a blatant statement about tattoos. It was about not getting them in hopes of having connection with the dead. Yeah, but that's a specific statement. That's not the same thing as marking your flesh. There's lots of stuff. I hate debating the Bible. There's lots of stuff in there, and it goes on with everything. You're not supposed to eat more than one animal at a time. You're not supposed to have long hair. You're not supposed to have facial hair. It goes on and on and on. There's all kinds of stuff that you're not supposed to do in the Bible. But the thing is, the Bible is a bunch of stories that give you a rough guideline to life, how you're supposed to live it. If you have a relationship with God, then whatever happens is between you and God. And not everybody's walking the same path, and not one of us are perfect. So it's kind of like try the best you can. Try not to hurt anybody or fuck anyone over. Definitely don't kill anything. And then when you kick the bucket, you might have a chance to hang out with God, to be reunited, with the Father. And that's about it. I don't know. Everybody's got their own interpretation. The other thing is I've read a lot of non-biblical stuff. I've read a bunch of cult stuff. I've read The Kabbalion. That's a very interesting book to read. It's a short read. But if you read The Kabbalion, it's like the Bible shortened. And there's lots of stuff. Almost all religion or any kind of practice of life is all about, what goes around comes around. Treat others the way you want to be treated, and so on and so forth. It's a whole bunch of that. Everybody is saying the same thing in a different way. And so I got it watered down to the point where it's just do the best you can. Don't hurt other people. Don't even think about hurting other people. And one day you'll have to deal with God, and hopefully you did okay along the way. And that's all I know. And I don't want to tell people what to think, what to do, how to feel, or any of that shit. And I'm just sharing my experience about my relationship with God, and I'm sure everybody's experience is different. Rich, the Book of Enoch is a good book. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 books that were removed from the Bible, but yeah. Aquest, definitely save the bees. Yeah, we can't make it without the bees. Save the dolphins. Aren't the dolphins rapey? I don't know about dolphins. I don't trust dolphins. But we need the bees. I know that. Aquest, I need food. I need food too. What's up, Mares? Happy Freedom. Mares, Democrat dimwits keep finding ways to waste our money. I know, they never run out of ideas, do they? What's up, Tao? Happy Freedom. The Old Testament contains a hidden code which contains notable names, events of the past, future, and current. It's called the Bible Code. I've never heard of the Bible Code. I will have to look into that. Brujo, happy freedom to you. Why is unaliving a new word? The difference between kill and murder is already confusing. Brujo, that's self-censoring. When people say unaliving, that's TikTok language. On TikTok, you can't talk about killing or murder or anything, so they say unaliving. Sometimes we'll say, I'll risk it. You're not supposed to talk about suicide on the live. So I'll refer to it as self-deletion. But that whole unaliving thing, that's TikTok lingo. Pickle Rick, save the manatees and big booty Latinas. Yeah, I played that video, Big Booty Latinas, with Alex Stein. People didn't really seem to like it, but I thought it was funny. What's up, Winston? Happy Freedom. Meta gonna get the oinkers tapping on the door. Yeah, I'd rather not. All right, hooligans, let's get in this last little bit of the news, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. Like I said, this is Lefties Losing It, and this one's titled, Trans Activist Melts Down After UK Supreme Court Definition of What a Woman Is.
It's time.
Could you imagine having to wait 4 years to figure out what a woman is? Oh, yeah, we had to live through that. Anyways, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the Goof Tube, and let's get into this.
It's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's hear from TDS sufferer and quisling Adam Kissinger, who spent 4 years crying about January 6th. Remember him? Well, he's now calling for Americans to take to the streets because they are in unbelievably uncharted territory. I don't know about you, but this all sounds a little bit insurrection-y to me.
Listen, we are in unbelievably uncharted territory here. And, we're approaching the point where, honestly, it's like we're all going to have to take to the streets or something.
Now to the Democrats' latest star, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. She wants you to know that she is a serious lawmaker and she's a black woman.
I want y'all to know that every day that I walk in those halls, regardless of whatever rhetoric they put out about me, I am a very serious lawmaker. At the same time, if you try me, you will find out. I just want to be clear about that, because I am truly a black woman at the same time.
Why is she telling us she's a black woman? We can see that. And why should that be contrasted against her being a serious lawmaker? These Democrats are so race-obsessed that sometimes they inadvertently are racist against themselves. Now to the woman many Democrats want to see as a presidential candidate, Michelle Obama. Here she is on her woefully low-rating podcast, talking about how hard married life is. Well, it is when you're married to Barack.
I think sometimes people who date don't realize that, in long-term relationships, you're gonna have deep dips. And you're going to have
a bad year.
You're going to have a bad. I tell people, and folks think that this is harsh. It's like you're going to have a bad decade.
Yeah.
I've been married to my husband for 30 plus years. The truth is, if you add it all up, even the year if the odds were you're going to be married to your partner for 50 years, and 10 of those years could be bad,
You'd sign up for it.
You'd sign up for it.
No thanks, Michelle. A miserable decade. Think I'll give that a pass. It's not the 1820s anymore. Women can be single nowadays. Let's hear from a couple of mask-wearing trans activists now. One of them is hailing Satan, while the other is talking about love and tolerance and solidarity. What?
I'll burn in hell.
Prostitute.
You're really afraid of authenticity and people being their own true selves? You're afraid of love? You're afraid of solidarity? Y'all are crazy. Absolutely crazy.
She's calling others crazy, bless. And the lefties are turning on each other. It seems even members of the LGBTQIA++ community fail to be sufficiently sensitive to pronoun preferences.
It is one thing to get misgendered by straight cis people, but it is another thing going into a queer space and getting nothing but misgendered there. That pisses me off so bad. I was at the gay bar last night. The gay bar is always the scene of the crime, okay? And I'm in line waiting for the bathroom, and there's stalls and there's urinals, right? And anybody that's using the urinal, I just let them go in front of me, and then I'm waiting for a stall. And some guy comes out, and he says something about the urinals, and he was like, "Oh, you're waiting for the stall?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And he was like, "And that is a woman's right." What gave him the audacity to say that to me?
Here is a mother who claims that her child told her at the age of 18 months that they're trans. They've been trans since birth.
What age do you think most trans kids determine that they're trans?
Violet told us when she was 1.5. She's been telling us since she could speak. So she knew since birth.
And while we're on this issue, there's been more fallout from the UK Supreme Court decision last week, the unanimous landmark ruling that defines what a woman is. And guess what? It's an adult female, as we've always told you. It's a biological female. They have to be born, they can't be made. But not everyone is taking the decision well.
You've probably heard about this Supreme Court's ruling on the definition of the word woman. This will have some real serious implications. It will have some consequences. But I want to tell you one thing. They can make their laws. They can specify their definitions. They can take away my rights. But there's one thing that they'll never be able to take from me. And that's who I am. I'm a trans woman and I'm proud. And they'll never be able to take that from me.
And this next leftist feminist claims this victory for women's rights is in fact a victory for the patriarchy. This old fool seems to think that women who are well built or who have short hair will be mistaken for men and will have to prove their womanhood. Seriously, that's the argument. Have a listen.
Please stop talking about this court decision that was made yesterday about the definition of what a woman is and framing it within a victory for a feminist context. It is not. Those people are like leftovers from the 1980s. They are exclusionary feminists. They are nothing to do with the modern feminist movement. And this is absolutely not a victory for women's rights. You realise what you have done. You know, we now all have to prove that we are women in order to get the services that we feel most comfortable in. Technically, I will have to prove that I'm a woman to be able to be searched by a female officer if I'm arrested by the police. I mean, you could say, well, you look like a woman and you sound like a woman, but so do a lot of my trans female friends. And what about my friends who have got polycystic ovary syndrome and are a little bit hairy about the face? What about my friends who are quite tall and well built with square jaws and look a little bit masculine? What about them? This is not a victory for women's rights. This is a victory for the patriarchy.
Yep, that's the argument. That's how desperate and illogical they're getting. That's what they think is a winning argument in this debate. Now let's go to the US and a heartbreaking case of senseless violence and a broken justice system. Carmelo Anthony stabbed to death a 17-year-old boy, Austin Metcalf, at a track meet in Frisco, Texas. Austin died in his twin brother's arms. Afterwards, we had the vile spectacle of people defending this teen killer. People raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for him. He walked free from jail on April 14 after his bond was reduced from $1 million to $250,000. And since then, his family and his representatives have played the victim. Here, a representative, Dominic Alexander, attacks Austin Metcalf's father, the victim's father, Jeff, for attending a press conference held by the Anthony family.
That was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who was not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words.
Yes, the grieving father being there is apparently a disrespect to the dignity of his son. The father was asked to leave, and guess what? He left. He didn't stab anyone because he was asked to leave. Now, this press conference, we also heard from the accused's mother.
The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming.
And then we were back to Dominic Alexander, the family's representative, blaming the school for wanting to expel this thug. And then he unbelievably blamed the weather for what happened that day.
Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Carmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. And what I have not heard the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on, I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research.
Joining me now is Sky News.
All right, well, that's Lefties losing it there. We actually covered that last part, but I didn't realize when we covered that, we did cover that the father was escorted out of the presser that the stabber family was holding. I didn't even think about the fact that he was in the same boat that Carmelo Anthony was in. He was somewhere where people didn't want him to be. He was asked to leave. Carmelo Anthony stabbed that kid and killed him over those reasons. The victim's father just left and didn't have to stab anybody and kill them. And you notice that story's just gone. That presser was the last we heard about the Carmelo Anthony family. I'm sure we'll hear more about it. I can't wait for them to go to court. Can't wait. They think they're all great now getting their $500,000 in donations and stuff, but I don't see how he's not getting murder charges. I mean, they have to get some really liberal, race-based judge in order to get him out of it, because otherwise he's just facing plain old murder. And so, I don't know. Can't wait for that to go down. Either way, that is the last little bit of the news I have for you hooligans today. We're going to be getting into the fun stuff. We're going to open today's door from the advent calendar that was sent to us by Hair Juicer. And like I said, we got two funny videos of the day. First one's titled Testicular Explosion. And our official funny video of the day is Lefties Can't Help Themselves. All of that's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat and see what you hooligans think about lefties losing it. Russell, he has shown the world that he's racist. Yeah, and Rita didn't bring it up, but their little spokesman guy that was with them at that presser called the victim's father a racist. Said that he was there, that him being there was inappropriate, and that he was there because of the politics and the racism on the internet. Like, I don't know how you murder his kid and then turn around and call him a racist. I also didn't realize that the victim's brother was a twin. So his father has to look at his kid and see the kid he lost at the same time every day. That'd be terrible. That would be terrible. No, Josh, let me make a reminder. Jesus loves us. I keep forgetting. I got to hook up that power bank. Thanks for reminding me, Josh. Russell, oh my God, that's a freak. Yeah, that one guy from UK or whatever, he was looking rough. Thank you so much, David from Oregon, for that $5 donation over on Rumble. Really appreciate the support. Thank you so much, David. It says, who here doesn't like Pimp on a Blimp? I got to see what the Pimp on a Blimp stuff was. I know it's Alex Stein, but I haven't seen that content yet. What's up, Justin saying happy freedom to you? Sage Pop, oh my God, what the hell is that? I don't know, those lefties, they be scary. What's up, Jack? Happy freedom to you. Trapper, the weather was not good for libs. I don't know why they try to bring up the weather. They're like, if you'd have never had a track meet, Carmelo Anthony wouldn't have had to stab that other kid, Austin Metcalf. Like, nah, the weather, he didn't stab him over the weather. Like, good try. Pickorook, yeah, I've seen Prime Time with Alex Stein. I've seen a little bit of it, but I don't know about the Pimp on a Blimp stuff. I don't know where that's coming from. I know it's related to him. I just haven't seen what caused all of that. Meta, happy Earth Day to you. Thanks for being here, Viola. What's up, Southern Eagleman? Happy freedom to you, and cheers. Chewy, yeah, the victim's dad got swatted that night. Yeah, we covered that. There wasn't a whole lot of information on it, but yeah, Jeff Metcalf got swatted. He wasn't home when they got swatted. He showed up like 5 minutes after the SWAT team had got there. A lot of people were blaming the family, Carmelo Anthony's family, because earlier that day they were calling him a racist and saying it was inappropriate for him to be there. And the next thing you know, he gets swatted. But I haven't heard any follow-up since then, though. What's up, Rodney? Happy freedom. What's up, Kami? Happy freedom to you. They got swatted twice? I haven't heard about the second swatting. I just know about the first one. Tactical calling them freaks. Those people are freaks. What's up, Yukon Man? Happy freedom to you. Well, travel safe, Yukon Man. DEFCON, happy freedom. AOC is suing him for the big booty Latina video. She's just mad because she's got a little booty. That's all right. She can be mad. Like, what's she even suing him for? Defamation of character. There was no big booty Latinas. I don't know. I don't know what her goal is. I don't think she knows either. Either way, let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff. Like I said, we're going to be opening today's door from the Advent calendar that was sent to us by Hair Juicer. It's our survival Advent calendar. And we got 2 funny videos of the day coming up. But first, I want to remind you, hooligans, if you would like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use the links in the description in order to send donations. You could do that by using PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Zelle, Venmo, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee, or you can even send crypto. All right, let's see what we got today from the Advent calendar sent to us by Hair Juicer. I think we're on day 7. Something else. This is the first Advent calendar we've had that has all these different size slots. Let me see. I think today is day 7. See what we get. Maybe. Don't fight me. They did not cut these pre-cuts very well. I'm like tearing the whole front of this up. You gonna fight me the whole way? Holy. There we go. Alright, what do we get? Same for you. What do you look? Why you look at me like that? Let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. No battery. Hold on. Let me see what kind of battery it takes. How do I do this? AA? Probably a AA. Oh, do I got AA's on me? Nope, those AA's. Let me see. Because I want to test it out really quick. Got a flashlight here. But I want to see what its capabilities are. I'll need a battery. There's a AA. Can't use my mouse right now, but that's okay. What do you need a mouse for? Need no mouse? Need mice around here? Is this the front or the back? We'll try it this way. If it don't work, we'll flip it over. Had a girlfriend like that once. Okay, let's see here. Okay, it didn't work. Gotta flip her over. I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you, buddy. This is your fault. You should have told me the battery don't go in that way. But no, you just sat there all quietly and let me mess this up in front of everybody. Okay. There you go. Do I get a... No. Oh, there we go. It does flash. You guys missed the protest days? Very cool. Oh, what else does it do? Hold on, it does something else. Oh, okay. Let me see. Yeah, you see that, Klaus? It get you. Hello, my baby. Hello, my... Okay. All right, that's enough of that. Thank you, Hair Juicer. Appreciate you. Awesome. I got to put my battery back in my mouse, though. Oh. There we go. There we go. Put this in survival. Well, actually, I need to put an actual battery in this because I'm going to need it. And then I ain't going to have no battery. So I'm going to set this out right here. Either way, thank you so much, Hair Juicer. All right. Put my battery in my mouse, and we'll go ahead and get onto these funny videos. Hey, you want this? You can have this. Just don't put it in your butt. Okay. Yep, right here. Our first funny video of the day is titled Testicular Explosion.
Play that video if you would for me, please. There's one of them right there. Oh my gosh, there goes my testicles all over the, what are those? What are those, limes? Limes, testicles? You put the lime in the coconut. There's nothing I like to see more than terrorist balls being blown off all over the limes. You put the lime in the coconut. Look at that, balls explode. Oh my gosh, nuts everywhere. Testicular explosion. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. No, I actually don't. You probably, wait, one more time. Let's play that again, just for an encore performance. Let's see those testicles explode. Here we go. I don't know. Oh my God, look at that. There you go. Don't be a terrorist and rape women and kill babies and stuff like that.
Yes. Good advice from Dan Bongino there. All right, let's get into our official funny video of the day. This video is just nuts. Well, I guess the last video was nuts, but either way, this is titled Lefties Can't Help Themselves.
They want white men in charge, and they want to put people like you in a camp.
I mean, that sounds good to me.
How can you even think that this is something that you should support?
Or the Cybertruck
people
goes so
with
fast.
With brown skin.
Yes, but the
are
Cybertruck
targeted.
is such a good car.
Don't you understand? You could end up in El Salvador. You could end up in El Salvador.
Wait, for what?
Prison.
Like for what?
For nothing, because they take innocent people. They don't give
That's
them
not
due
fair.
process.
Miss Monique, hold your hand out.
And he's got tattoos.
What does that mean?
He's a member of a gang.
You're a gang member?
Bro, what is happening?
I'm still kind of caught up though. What kind of porn are they banning?
Anything having to do with sexual relations between a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, anything.
Who wants that though?
That's what the white Christian nationalists want. They don't want any porn.
Is it Elon?
If you got to ride in the Cybertruck, everything, your whole opinions will change.
He's brown. He's brown.
I thought he was like black.
He's brown. He's a brown person. He's not welcome in this country.
What the
These lefties can't help themselves. They gotta show their true colors. Well, hooligans, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. I'm gonna grab this Linktree link really quick. We're gonna read through, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Holy, that lady was going off. Klaus Daniel's still trying to figure out what was going on. He's like, I swear there was a light around here. Alright, hooligans, there's the Linktree link where all of my links are listed. So if you'd like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, we'd really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday, because we got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. The hooligans are there keeping the conversation going 24/7, and we have 2 news boards to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy and you'd really like to support, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience the live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and links and all kinds of stuff right there while watching the live. You will also have access to Hooligans Alley, which is our private social media area. You'll have access to the forums. You'll have access to the arcade. And you will also have access to our advanced messaging system with the built-in group chats. So definitely go get yourself a membership for jeffmaclive.com. It's the home of the hooligans. Like I said, we're going to read through really quick, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Russell, a laser pointer? Yeah, I got one around here somewhere. I was thinking about letting him have a little laser pointer fun later, since I was hitting him with the flashlight. Josh 1776 went right when he gets to sleep, hit him with the flashlight again. Maybe. He doesn't sleep for very long. Russell, oh my God, she thinks all non-white people are going to get deported. Yeah, because that's what her scary blue news has told her to think. He said, but If you ride in a Cybertruck, it'll change your mind. That's what he was saying. He said the Cybertruck is so fast. She did not like that. She said, you got tattoos, you're in a gang. He said, oh my God, what is happening? Yep, spreading that fear. Thanks for being here, Era16. Totally care. Why haven't we heard anything about Dan? What Dan has done with his appointment? I don't know. I don't know. I know he stopped doing his show and that he's like deputy FBI director or something like that. And that was it. And I haven't heard anything from him since. Sage Pub Klaus is still looking for the light. Yeah. Winston Klaus collar camera. I've thought about it. He doesn't go out in the wild though, so you'd just be seeing the living room and stuff. Sage Pup, I have the same flashlight with rechargeable batteries. Yeah, I have a couple flashlights. We lose power every once in a while, and I don't like being in the dark. I just don't like it. If I'm going to die, I want to see what it is that's killing me. Tori Wayne, you get wish list stuff? Not today. Are you talking about the advent calendar, Tori Wayne? Because we opened it yesterday. Oh, let me grab it. Are you talking about this, Tori Wayne? I got the flag. And this is our new advent calendar. Yeah, we opened it yesterday. Thank you so much, Tori Wayne. And Karma Carson. It might have been... We did it before the fun stuff yesterday. If you want to go and see yesterday's live, you just basically go to where we were covering our funny videos, and it's like right before we opened the door for the advent calendar. I can't remember what we got yesterday. Let's take a gander, just cause. But yeah, we did the unboxing, then we did the advent calendar, and then we did our funny videos. Oh yeah, we got the screwdriver. That's what we got yesterday. It looks like the murder weapon, but it's not. It's just a screwdriver. But yeah, so we opened that right. Yeah, we opened the flag and the advent calendar, then got the screwdriver, then we played the 2 funny videos of the day. So yeah, thank you so much, Tori Wayne. I appreciate you. David, I like turtles and tacos. Me too. Me too. Hey, thanks for being here, Meta. Thank you, Viola. Southern Eggman. Oh, Snooks is around. What's up, Lisa? Happy Freedom. He also brings up Rittenhouse, claiming that he got 3 people in the back with an AK. Lies. Yeah, Lisa. And the left is trying to compare Kyle Rittenhouse to Carmelo Anthony, but it's not at all the same. Not even close. Hey, thanks for being here, Cliff. Thank you, Mirrors. Oops. All right, hooligans. It is that time once again. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we did the thing. We're going to read through one last time just to make sure no hooligans are left behind, but we are wrapping this up. We'll be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Thank you, Too Old to Care. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, MU. Yeah, Russell, I gotta go figure out where Klaus's laser pointer is. Lisa, Rittenhouse should sue that guy. I don't know how Kyle's doing financially. There's a lot of people he should go after because they were calling him a white supremacist and all this stuff, calling him a murderer, and then he beat the case. And then I didn't really hear anything about lawsuits. But yeah, they shouldn't be comparing these situations. What Kyle Rittenhouse went through is nothing like what Carmelo Anthony had done. Those were Carmelo Anthony's choices. They're just trying to project onto other people. Hey, thanks for being here, Rappy. I hope you have a great night. Winston, any 4chan news? I first found Jeff Mack via 4chan post. Really? I've never even been on 4chan. I've only been told what it is. Last I heard, they wiped 4chan and it wasn't coming back. But that was just gossip, so I don't really know. Thank you, Hair Juicer. I appreciate you. All right, hooligans. I think we're good to go. Like I said, we will be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.